Cool. I think this is episode 10 of
milestone.
Rhubarb Records podcast. Yeah, we're in the double digits now. So yeah, as usual, Liam's with me.
Yo, what up?
And we've got Luke Kidgell, Australian comedian. Big fan, Luke. Thanks
I'm
so much for coming
myself
down.
in.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming down.
I didn't even realize the podcast had started. Like, you were kind of like, yeah, let's go. And I thought you'd be like, count us in. But you just start talking.
Yeah, I try to create it as seamless as possible.
Yeah, right. And I've ruined the illusion now. Sorry.
Yeah. We've also got Gareth in the audience and David Bowie, the bird David Bowie, not the spirit of David Bowie or anything. But yeah, thanks for coming down, man. I'm a big fan of the Luke and Lewis podcast and Memoirs of a White Guy and all that. So yeah, it was when I heard you were coming to Perth, I was like,
that's
gotta
very
hit him
kind.
up. Let's see if he's keen. And yeah, you're gracious
Always
enough
down.
to come down. But you said to me, I said,
well,
we're a music podcast, and you said, well, I don't know what I could talk about.
Well, like, unless you talk about Blink-182 every week, I just don't know how much I'm going to offer on the subject.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a huge music fan.
Yeah.
Just I looking around the record shop now, and I think I only recognize like the Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and I think that's it. I don't know any of the other. I mean, obviously there's an Eddie Murphy record here that I recognize. But yeah, I just don't Yeah, I'm not into, like, what type of music are you guys into?
Man,
all sorts.
Yeah, a bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
Because you run a record shop, so you just listen to music all day.
Yeah, like my tastes are diverting constantly. Every time something comes through the door that's interesting and new, I'm like, ooh. So I'm like led in one direction and then led in another.
Yeah, right.
But Liam knows so much about like music past and so many like different genres, and that's why I like pushed for us to start a podcast, because you were telling me so many facts and stuff, and I was like, we got to get this down as like an audio recording. So that was,
Now I get to
part
bore
of it.
people like in my spare time as well, on the
Yeah.
airwaves.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's a lot of like psych rock, like you, because you're from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like King Gizzard.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
Right.
act. But yeah, Tame Impala, which from here, obviously.
Yeah.
Right through to electronic. So,
Yeah,
but-
cool.
but we've all had our shit music tastes as well.
Oh.
So we were talking about what we could do for the podcast. So we've decided
I like
shit
that
music taste episode.
You're like, all right, we've got Luke Kidgell coming in. We can't talk about good music because he's not going to be into that. And thank you, because I would have offered nothing on that subject. But I can talk about trash for hours.
Yeah, awesome.
What's like your guilty pleasure then?
Okay, so I
you still
jotted
listen
down
to.
a few. Okay, that I still listen
Yeah.
to. Now, on the surface, it's not so much a guilty pleasure. Actually, before I get into that though, I do want to thank our sponsor Audio Technica for the microphones again. So, and the mixer interface. So yeah, thank you to them.
See how crisp this sound is when I'm clapping them.
Yeah,
Boom.
just permeates the ears.
Mm.
Is that like your ASMR kind of like 3D
Yeah.
sound?
I'm not going to do any chewing noises though.
So guilty pleasures for me, and this might not seem like one on the surface, but for me, growing up, I was the biggest AC/DC nut there was going around. Like I like to a problematic level. Like knew every album, knew every song. I'd go online, download the bootlegs and shit like that.
Did you used to turn up to your public school in a private school uniform, like dressed like
No,
Angus
I
Young?
went to private school, so I was
Oh, okay.
already in the
Just cut your sleeves off then.
the
At
costume.
the arms.
Yeah,
I don't think that. See, getting so into them, getting into like the non-hits, I don't think is considered bad, because they probably were. I've only ever heard the hits.
yeah.
Like, I don't know anything past Jailbreak.
Right.
You know, like
That's
I
still
know.
a pretty like.
No, like obviously there's like TNT, Thunderstruck, Highway to Hell, blah, 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 and you go through all those long way to the top, and then maybe like I'm trying to think of like the least hit song that I know of there. Maybe like that Rock and Roll Train one, the new one. Was that them?
That's their second most newest album, but yeah, that is
Right.
them.
Yeah.
They've had more come out since, and a few controversies as well.
What?
The
Like
drummer.
allegations.
What happened to Phil?
He got busted for.
He lives in New Zealand now.
Yeah, he got busted for like slinging meth and like
Slinging meth.
making death threats to
That's
people,
right.
and like he was a bit of a
Bit of a
He was
dickhead.
he was almost like a, your typical AC/DC fan, but he was in the band.
yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand's like the place you go to when you get done slinging meth. It's just like a place full of meth slingers.
The land
funny.
of meth slinging.
I don't think AC/DC is that, man. If that's your embarrassing
All right,
one,
I've got way more.
I
just wanted to
gonna
set
have
it
a
off
hard
light
time here.
and bring it down. So I'll go. The next one was Limp Bizkit's chocolate starfish
that's
and the hot
shit.
dog flavored water.
Yeah, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. So I'll go from there. So that was, and what makes it more embarrassing is I was very late into the Limp Bizkit game. This is I'm talking when I was 19. I'm 26 now.
By the way, there was never an era that was cool to be into Limp Bizkit. So you're saying
Yeah.
it was never good.
Yeah. But at least if it was like the early 2000s or the 90s, you could say, oh, well, it was the times.
Yeah,
and,
you could be
know.
like, well, everyone was doing it.
Yeah,
you know? That's
exactly.
like what you say about,
But for me,
orgies. Well, we were all coming. Or whatever. But I haven't been in an orgy, so I sound like I'm very knowledgeable on the subject. It was just a joke. Continue.
what was I going to say?
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. So for me, it started off as mates started playing it at parties when we'd get
By the
drunk.
way, I'm sorry to interrupt again.
No,
That
it's
does sound like a game that would be played at an orgy. Limp Bizkit.
Well, that's where the name comes from, isn't it?
From Soggy Biscuit.
I thought
Yeah, I'm
that
pretty
was-
sure.
Oh,
That's what it
really?
is. Yeah. Well, the
Ah.
album's called Chocolate
No
Starfish. and the
wonder
Hot
they're
Dog.
Yeah,
shit.
I was
'Cause
gonna say.
Imagine so I don't know who the guys in the band are, but they're like just all sitting around one day, obviously coming on a biscuit together. One of them can't get it up, and they're going, "Bro, I got it." And that was the origin. No wonder. And after that origin story of the band name, you can't have good music
No.
if that's how you've started.
Well,
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
yeah. Well,
Deep
I s-
dive.
Yeah.
Can you verify that because you're the music fact guy?
Oh man, honestly, I wasn't there when they were when the
Yeah.
biscuit thing came up.
Yeah.
But it sounds right to me.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
We'll
We'll say
I'll give him-
80% confirmed.
Yeah.
But not fully. Don't take our word
Don't
for
put it on Wikipedia. Just say it's not at the 90%
no.
threshold of Wikipedia.
Wikipedia pretty much is 80-20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
feel
you
like
ever
we can be an authority on that?
back in high school? I used to go in sometimes edit bands genres. When I was in year 7, I thought it was funny to write instead of pop, I'd be like sex, and then
on
and then I'd
iTunes.
see how long it took for them to change it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, Limp Bizkit. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was one of those things that started off as mates would play it at parties when we were drunk, ironically, and be like, oh, Limp Bizkit rolling kind of thing. And then we all just actually got into it. And then we'd actually be hanging out and, listening to it. And then it got to the point where, we'd light a doob or something, pass around and be like, "Fuck, this is actually pretty well produced, man."
Yeah, right. So the start, you and by the end, you're just get up, or however that song
Yeah.
goes. You know what?
That was pretty
I've
good,
only ever
actually.
heard. Thank you. I'm a big Limp Bizkit fan. No, the only 2 songs I've ever heard by them is "Rollin'" and their cover of "Behind Blue Eyes."
Oh man, yeah.
Because that charted that one, I think.
Yeah.
That did chart, yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't even write that song.
No, they didn't. And I think because I did know the original because my dad listens to good music. Who's the
Yeah.
original by Behind
Who.
Blue Eyes?
The
Oh, is
Who.
that the Who?
The Who, yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great song. And then
It is.
they came in and put their Limp fucking biscuit on it or whatever. They just ruined it,
So
Yeah.
don't smoke weed, kids, because it's the gateway drug to Limp Bizkit.
That's it. Yeah. So Limp Bizkit, that's one of the guilty pleasures of mine.
I can understand that.
Yeah. All right, you got to go now, Liam.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got 5 albums, but it's kind of hard to know what's considered a guilty pleasure these days.
That's what I was
Thanks to
struggling
the-
with as well.
because most of mine are 80s. So, and we had an 80s revival. So all of a sudden that shit's
And it's
Cool,
kind of
yeah.
into things ironically. That's
But-
why you got John Farnham
Yeah.
on bloody Falls or whatever it is.
I know.
like Daryl Braithwaite's horses and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. But I suppose the yardstick for sort of knowing whether or not these are actual guilty pleasures is if I put the record on at home and my girlfriend rolls her eyes, I know it's a guilty pleasure.
Yep.
So, yeah, Boney M, just gonna drop some Boney M.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose people like Boney M. Like, ironically, like everyone who I mentioned them to is like, oh yeah, Rasputin. But like, I genuinely think they're pretty damn cool.
So I don't know Boney M's songs. I would know them. I would have been tormented to enough Mix 94.5 in the car with my parents driving
They don't
in my childhood to know Boney M. But
Is
I
that
can't
your
remember
version of
which.
Triple M in Perth?
It used to be on the
Yeah.
Triple M network.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
But
then
that's
I
like
think they're
same
back
style
on
of
it now,
music. Like The
actually.
Rock, they just play Foo
it's all
Fighters and
contemporary
Powderfinger all day.
and like
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's basically like a mix of
It's
like
a bit
modern
more
pop
poppy
and-
disco than Triple M.
but no R&B.
Right. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's like a ton of hits from them that are like total bangers. Like Rasputin, like obviously.
Oh, is that the one that goes rah rah Rasputin?
Yeah, Russia's Greatest Love Machine.
Yeah.
And like if you watch the film clip, the dancer, the male dancer is like wearing a big grey beard and he's like doing all the Russian dancing and stuff. It's freaking awesome. It's all in disco style. I also did a track called Sunny, and that's actually like a really recognizable song because I'm pretty sure that song was sampled in like a early 2000s like sort of big beat like electronic dance.
I was about to say, I
dance
think
hit.
we've talked about the sample of it. Yeah.
You know the song I'm talking about
I
probably
think I
just
do,
just from
yeah.
hearing the name.
Or we've talked about it before at least.
Yeah. Ma Baker, another classic. Daddy Cool. Can't go
Oh, that's
past that.
Boney M, is it?
Yeah, that's Boney M. And like interesting fact about Boney M is they're like a German disco band. They were kind of like a manufactured group. So there was like three female singers and dancers and a male vocalist / dancer. And his role was kind of like to do the spoken word stuff.
Yeah.
Like the cool, like deep voice, like spoken word shit. And I was watching a documentary, and as it turns out, he actually didn't even provide any of the vocals like at all. Like that wasn't his voice on any of the songs. It was actually their like producer / manager who was like this like 5'5" like little like German like guy that looked like Danny DeVito. Like, so you listen to there's like a bit on Daddy Cool, and there's like a spoken word bit, and it's supposed to be the lead dancer, and he's like, "Oh, she loves her daddy," or something like really creepy and like, something creepy.
Imagine
and
Danny
gross.
DeVito saying that.
Yeah, yeah, it'd sound quite a lot different. But yeah, now I can't unhear that. Every time I hear that voice, like saying all those weird like promiscuous things, I just picture this little German grey-haired dude with like a horseshoe haircut.
They
So,
could turn that into an
that's
Always
funny.
Sunny episode as well.
Oh man, absolutely. And Sunny could be the theme tune of the whole episode. So yeah, that's my number one
Yeah.
guilty pleasure.
I've never heard of that band, by the way. Boney
You're
M.
gonna have to look them up.
You
You'll
would
be
recognize them. Do
you'll
you
be
ever get tormented
delighted.
to car trips and stuff?
I
with, like,
probably have. I think I've heard some of those songs before that you
Mm.
mentioned, but I didn't know the band.
It's like one of those ones that you hear around. And
It's
you're
just
like,
one of like the ones my dad used to put on like compilations of like 80s and stuff all the time when I was a kid. That's like
Yeah.
what I grew up listening to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad was the exact same. He'd
Yeah.
burn like 80s.
But then like
compilations.
my dad also like listens to a lot of like I guess contemporary like rock music as well. Like he's a in the closet like Foo Fighters fan. He'll chuck on some Powderfinger like Jet. Like he loves a bit of Australian.
Yeah.
But he went and saw Mental as Anything a few nights ago here at Scarborough.
Yeah.
He loves them.
Yeah,
He
my lady
loves that
Mental
Australian
with
like
anything.
thing. Hoodoo Gurus and shit.
Yeah.
What else is it?
I mean,
Australian Crawl.
That I was about to say
it's like
Australian
every
Call.
Australian
Mm.
dad is like apparently that was just
Listen to this.
the
Like,
Joanna.
this is real music.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
stuff's all good though. Like I
oh
think
it's good. Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
music. Crowded
Yeah.
House.
Yeah. I one time when I was a kid, the first first radio I had was this like little bedside alarm clock thing. It was always tuned to 92.9, which is Hit FM or
Yeah.
Kiss FM. Is the network now, I think.
No,
or-
it's hit. I think
It's still hit.
Yeah,
Um,
I should know that. I'm
Yeah.
on it. I've
um,
been there before. Yeah, it's 92.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
I remember like the first kind of like hook that got me was Spice Girls. And I remember being like 4 years old, like real young, and just like, I had no like kind of idea about, what music I liked or what I liked. It was just a catchy hook.
And you just heard, if you want to be my lover. And you're
Yeah.
like, I want to get with your friend. You know? Yeah, you're
Exactly.
just like, dang.
And I would sing and dance along to that. And I remember one day, Dad walked into my room and he was like, he caught me. Actually, I think I've told this story on the podcast before.
Yeah, with the episode with Tanea, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
right. Yeah. And I got caught busting out to Spice Girls and, vocal
Hang on.
soloing.
When you say busting out.
Oh, no, not that kind of busting out. No.
I was like, whoa.
I wouldn't even know what that is.
I didn't
Which
like
one-
which
I'm
was
like,
your favourite
Spice Girls are
Spice
great,
Girl?
but I don't like them that much.
Yeah.
Scary was your favourite, wasn't she?
I can't remember what they look like.
Scary, sporty, ginger. Who's the other one?
Baby,
Maybe
posh.
Posh. Yeah.
See, I was from that moment, I was scared away from Spice Girls.
I don't know
Not
the
that-
difference. I forget which ones were which. Scary is the one who's she is a judge on one of the talent shows, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, like X Factor or something?
Yeah, I forget what her name
and
is.
she's the Jenny Craig ambassador.
That's the one.
So lose the kilos. She's got this.
Yeah,
that's
one,
my
yeah.
really bad English
Yeah,
accent.
right. Oh, that's real. That is a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, but I was like 4.
But there's
the
so
time.
much good pop music that's like that, though. Like where it's like, you wouldn't listen to an album, but it comes on at a party, and you're like, yes, let's crank that Soulja Boy or whatever. Yeah, just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's not
Mhm.
good, but it's
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
to like be in the room and dance and listen to.
That's it. That's exactly the definition. Well, yeah, that's what a guilty pleasure is.
Yeah, I
really.
guess like Teenage Dirtbag. I wouldn't call a great song musically, but like it's fun to be like, oh yeah, at a party.
You know
and
it's
it's
trash,
fun. Everyone
but-
does the I got 2 tickets to like that is so like kind of
What was that song
teenage and
called again?
weird.
Teenage
Dirtbag.
Dirtbag,
Yeah, by
yeah.
Wheatus. It was like
Wheatus,
like
that's it.
the one. It was like a one-hit wonder. But those songs are
And at the
Have
same
fun.
time, what came at the same time as on was a banger, was the Alien Ant Farm cover of Smooth
Oh
Criminal.
yeah, another one hit wonder. I
Tho-
think,
those
or-
two songs.
is that the
thereabouts.
Annie Wilkie?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That was top of video hits. I don't know if you guys used to watch
In the
video
boxing ring? Is that the one
I
where they're
think-
in the
I think-
backyard or something?
Hits. I think
Yeah,
you're right,
yeah.
yeah. And they used to have like the top 10, so there was like a countdown, and every week at the end of the show they'd play number 1, and I remember like watching, like tuning
That's
in
right, I
every
forgot
week,
that.
just being like, come on, Alien Ant Farm, like.
Yeah.
You were
What?
rooting for them. Like,
yeah.
oh man, that's yeah. Rooting for that song is like different to just listening to it passively.
Yeah, nah, I was like totally rooting for it.
So were you like a metal guy growing up?
Yeah, I would say so. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I always liked a bit of everything, really, but yeah, like I'm probably still a metal guy, really. Like I wear like metal t-shirts all the time and stuff, but that's just because I like wearing band t-shirts.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. I was a metal guy growing up as well. I was like full into like late high school, like Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
'cause
guys,
if you wanna be
guys
there,
do stink of that.
Cool. You've got
That's like every guy who like runs a vinyl shop is like, yeah, like they dabbled in Parkway Drive at some point, you know.
Oh,
like,
no, I
Actually,
didn't dabble
Parkway
in
is one of the
Parkway.
ones that
you won't.
I
Go.
admire.
What about
I admire.
Slipknot?
Oh, yeah, that's
we've
a guilty
already-
pleasure.
We've had
Yeah.
we've had this discussion, I think, on the last episode as well about Slipknot.
If you can
I don't
put aside
understand that
the-
music.
If you can put aside the I hate my mum and dad like feeling of the music,
Yeah.
or the lyrics, I should say, the rest of the
You
music
can't even
is-
understand the lyrics. It's like, oh, sounds like he's deep throating the microphone.
Yeah, it's rough. But
I don't understand.
I never
that.
liked him. I was in the same
easy.
position, and then I was at Soundwave one year, and they were headlining.
The
and
drummer's sick.
yeah,
like
Joey
the
Jordison.
Drumming, like I get the appeal and why like people
Yeah.
kind of geek out over it in a way.
Yeah,
But it's like also, hey man, there's 7 guys out there playing drums or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
just stop.
I
You know,
think there's, like,
lose
there's
one of the
literally-
bongos
There's
or
a
whatever.
guy, yeah, exactly. There's a guy that they had. Like, imagine like your whole job is to just basically tour around the world and just like smack an empty keg with a baseball bat in a
Yeah.
clown mask.
Yeah.
Like, he's got it pretty fucked.
It's like, well, you're dressed as a Dementor, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not my cup of tea, but like you said, I can definitely.
I bet I
They're
can
the Pussycat Dolls of metal.
I feel like there is
Yeah.
someone listening right now getting so triggered, going like, "Oh, what Slipknot?" It's like,
Absolutely.
that's funny. Yeah, cool. Yeah, see, I never got that deep into like the hardest music, and you're gonna laugh because you guys are into that music. The hardest I ever went was A Day to Remember.
Oh, I don't remember. That was when I graduated. A Day to Remember was a bit of an anthem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the first song on the album with like the guy walking into all the tentacles and all the trees? Or something
The Downfall
like
of Us All. Like,
That's it. Yeah.
I've experienced all this stuff through my girlfriend because she's a massive closet emo.
Yeah.
So she loves all that stuff. And she's just got into record collecting finally after like 7 years of being together and her just like hating me, like talking about records non-stop.
It's like not even about music after her just hating me. And then you just end the sentence
I
there.
feel
You're
like
like,
we finally turned the corner after 7 years.
You're like, but now she's coming around, you know?
Yeah. Don't have to keep her captive in the basement anymore.
Oh,
It's nice.
fuck. Okay.
But yeah, no, so she's like trying to collect all her emo heritage on vinyl. So
Yeah.
What's that, like the Black Parade and stuff like
yeah,
that? That
My Chemical
is
Romance is
the
one of them.
only album that really, like, you listen to it every time and I'm like, this will always hold up to me. The Black Parade is, like, I think is probably almost my favorite album of all time.
They were
Really?
pretty
Yeah.
pretty
See, I'd say that's a notch on your guilty pleasure list for me.
Oh, really? No, see,
Yeah.
I genuinely back that as like, no, I could stand behind that and be like, this is good, like, you know, good lyrically. I think these guys are good musicians, and I'm happy to. But that's because I listen to trash.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's because like I listen to, you know, music that objectively isn't good. Like,
Yeah.
I guess like Blink-182, like they're fun. I listen to fun music. I guess
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like amazing instrumentation. It's 4-chord music. Like,
That's the thing though with like My Chemical Romance is like people who are into it are like they'll very, you know, they'll unpack it and they'll be like, this is why it's good. It's not like it's sick. Like
yeah.
I don't think like the hits. I think Teenagers is their worst song. Like, it was the worst song on that album. Like,
Yeah, I'm trying
the
to
single I
remember
thought
it.
was the worst song.
yeah.
Because that was like that weird like teenagers. It was just like,
What was
it's kind of
what was the group that was around the same time?
was
and
it The Used? Is that?
I remember
Oh
the
man, there's
Used.
so many.
And it was like Panic at the Disco.
Oh, dude, they are like my second favorite band.
Oh really?
Yeah, I love them.
I see. I was a bit of a hater of that. What was that? The big hit of theirs.
I write sins, not tragedies. Like
Yeah.
closing the goddamn door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I go
Like,
see them. I've gone see them live twice in the last 4 years.
Oh really?
Really?
Yeah, I'll still go.
Are they
see them.
Australian?
No,
they're American.
Chicago.
Right.
But they you probably would like their second album, Pretty Odd, like the one that's like the kind of 60s like inspired. So after they did their emo thing at first, they just went completely backflipped and released this like those folk songs on the album.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a record that actual people who like music would probably enjoy because it's not an emo.
I've never heard
Record.
anything beyond the hits, so
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
fair
even
enough.
realize that they changed direction. To be honest, I didn't even realize they were still together.
Now, they're not. It's just Brendan, the main guy, and then
Yeah.
the other guys have left, and now he just plays with the band, and he goes under the name Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
It's very
okay.
much a branding thing. It's just him.
Yeah.
But they've gotten bigger. Like, they're doing arenas now.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, I went and
wow.
saw them at like Rod Laver Arena.
Because you get that with some bands that
But
have like a really cheesy
Didn't you hear
single.
High Hopes last year? Like, they had a single. Do you not listen to
Oh, was
mainstream
that
radio?
Panic at the
yeah,
Disco?
got high hopes for a living.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was Panic at the Disco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are still relevant, but I guess
Yeah.
it's just pop.
Yeah.
Music.
That kind of had like a real R&B sound to it as well. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
I suppose
dun.
that's the thing at the moment though. Like every R&B is like
R&B is
hip hop
very-
and R&B is like the most polarizing genre of music probably in existence,
Yeah.
like ever
Yeah.
have to be. So I can understand how bands that want to remain relevant on radio
Yeah.
are taking that direction.
Well, then their ticket sales are going well. Good on them. But do you guys like get around like pop, like me, like would you listen to Post Malone or not?
No,
I'm curious about it. I don't like actually
I don't-
hate on much.
Yeah, I don't like actively avoid like top 40.
Yeah,
I just find that generally
just boring.
it just
Oh,
doesn't.
I don't like-
the music doesn't.
I don't
impress
like
me.
the Ariana Grande, like Taylor Swift. It's
Yeah.
just like it might as well all be the same. Like they
Yeah.
could all like if Ariana Grande sung Love Story and that was her song, and you know what I mean, like it'd just be the same. You'd be
Mm.
like, yeah, that's the same act.
The one that I can't stand the most is Ed Sheeran. Like, just can't do it.
I saw Ed live a few years ago when he came and he did all those like arena shows.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I was like going in going like, yeah, I guess I like Ed. And then he was just like no backup band, just him and a loop pedal for an hour and a half in a stadium, and it was great.
He's supremely
I've heard his
talented.
performances are quality. Yeah.
It was really good. Like he builds the beats live and stuff, and then he's very talented.
Does he have a background as a street performer? Is that where they?
Yeah,
Must do.
busking. Yeah,
Right.
that's how he started.
Because wasn't it like Jamie Foxx or someone who discovered him?
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah,
Jamie
Jamie
Foxx
Foxx
discovered him.
Like
I
got him
didn't
a
know that.
gig.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Jamie Foxx did music for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
he's
He
really talented,
produces music as well. He's he doesn't make a big song and dance about it, but
Right.
pun not intended. But he
It's a great singer.
yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew he had a brief stint. I kind of thought it was
he
like a
did
Will
the-
He
Smith.
Ed Sheeran was living on Jamie Foxx's couch for a period of time.
He
as well,
really
apparently.
obviously believed in him.
Yeah.
There seems to be like a, I wouldn't say that like loop artists are popular because people don't go looking for like loop artists and stuff like that and like street performers, but it seems like we're in a day and age now where like street performers and people who had their beginnings as loop artists or use loop pedals are like becoming really, really
well,
popular.
if you're a solo act and you want to make a song, that's, I guess, is the only way to do it. And
Yeah.
obviously the technology is so accessible now. It's like,
That's it.
$50 to buy a loop pedal or something. So
Yeah. I mean, like Tash Sultana is a good example.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
she's like, the big one at the moment for.
But it was like quite frowned upon. It probably still is, I guess, like with people who are purists and all that. But yeah, like using loop pedals and all that kind of stuff was, for some reason, I don't understand it, but it was like frowned upon among musicians, and everyone's like, oh, what's this? And they're like, oh yeah, it's just like a loop artist, and like, oh, whatever, that's crap. But it's
seems
good
kind of like how like people give prop comic shit.
Yeah.
Like it seems kind of like that of the music world.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
oh, you're a hack or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's no truth to it at all. Like, it still takes talent to do that. So
I can't think of a prop comic that like I'm a huge fan of.
I can't even
But
think
I
of
don't. I don't have anything.
Yeah,
against prop
I
comics.
would say
Carrot Top.
Jason Byrne is a. Have you seen him? The guy,
Nah.
like, he's an absurdist. Always comes out with like, with some kind of prop or crowd work stunt or.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't even think of a prop comic.
Yeah.
Carrot Top.
What's
Carrot
that?
Top. Oh yeah. He's the American one.
So, you surely know who Carrot Top is, right? So like I
think
can't
I've
say
heard
I've
of
ever
him.
seen any of his work.
He's like
but
a
I've just heard,
90s was his time, right?
I think 2000s.
2000s.
Yeah, you might be right, but he might have started in the 90s. But I only know of him through like pop culture references and stuff like that, like say episodes of Family Guy and
Right.
what have you. But he's like this frizzy orange, like mop-headed, weird ass looking dude. He started out doing like prop comedy with like I don't know, random shit on stage, and sort of gathered a minor cult following, and then at some point like he got bitten by the Hollywood bug and ended up like getting all this like really horrible plastic surgery done on his face, and he got into like bodybuilding. So he's a frizzy orange haired prop comic, and then he comes out on stage and he's like built like the Hulk, and he's got this like disfigured face from like plastic surgery.
Jesus Christ.
It's not a recipe for good comedy.
What? Oh, I'm just being showed a photo now.
If I see that guy coming
Oh
towards me
my
with a
God.
giant mallet, I'm running out the door.
He looks like if Hulk Hogan, Lindsay Lohan, and Michael Jackson had a baby, and that would be the
He looks
result.
like he swallowed the souls of those three
Yeah.
people. Like he's that's his final form. Basically.
And that's not a good final form. like that's no one aspires to come out. I want to be the product of Hulk Hogan, a convicted pedophile, and Lindsay Lohan. I want to look Herbie fully fucking loaded. Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I've never heard of that person or seen that person before.
yeah. Well, now there you go. I've just enriched your life.
I feel like I'm disappointed now that I've You know, everyone's going, how was Perth? Yeah, I learned a new shit thing.
Carrot Top.
Yeah.
Speaking of shit things, Luke,
Here we go.
it's time to share.
Well, here's the thing, as you guys and people listening have probably already figured out. I was like, I wouldn't even. You guys were like, oh, Panic at the Disco, like that sucks. They're my second favorite band. So my guilty pleasure is oh man, we've set the bar
We should
low.
have just asked you to name all your favorite bands. So we could berate
that's
you
the
for
thing. You should have been like, just give me a Spotify, and I would have. Obviously, I think that whole genre is a guilty pleasure for me because I do listen to other music a lot. Like I enjoy Tame Impala and stuff like that. But I guess I always just fall back on because when I was in year 9 and stuff, that's all I listened to. It was like Fall Out Boy, Blink-182, you know, Sum 41, like there's that pop punk. I was like a pop punk kid, you know, I was wearing Vans shirts everywhere. For a bit. I actually tried to learn how to skateboard just so I could be more enriched in the culture of being a fucking loser. and I would say the lowest I ever got in that genre, this is when I hit rock bottom of Aussie pop punk kid was when I found myself checking out Short Stack's latest album. And I think that's when I really had to start looking into it, and I was like, this is no longer acceptable.
Man, I like how I don't know about you guys, but when emo started to become a little bit tacky, because obviously it was super cool for ages, and then when it kind of tapered off, Short Stack became an insult. So if you saw someone walking down the street with eyeliner and an emo mop, you'd be like, oh, check out Short Stack over there.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd never really. But that's the thing, they're alright. You good on them, you know. They're from Australia. I don't want to trash them, but good on them. They are successful.
Stack is the new black.
Yeah, which now would be a racist title. They wouldn't even be able to release that anymore. Yeah,
I remember this logo now.
Shimmy Go Go and what? Remember Sway Sway Baby? I didn't like that album. See, I thought the one they did after when they cut their hair and shit.
Country.
Where they were what planet are you? And it was on the radio and stuff. That was. I listened to that a few times. I'd say that's the lowest I stooped.
They struck me as the equivalent of One Direction for the.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, and even
world.
I've even since because I was just fascinated. I've also listen to 5 Seconds of Summer since they've gotten big, just because I was they were my age, and I was oh, that's interesting that they're from Australia and they've just blown up these guys from the suburbs in Sydney. I just think that's a cool story.
Yeah,
but I don't. They're alright, but they're just pop. You know, I see the appeal. I'm good on them. They've got 15-year-old girl fans and they're raking it in and money, by the way.
Money.
And I'm just that's sweet. So I do get around stuff like that, but not anymore, I guess. But I do still unironically enjoy listening to Blink-182 and was that considered uncool in your circles, Blink?
Man, when I went to high school, I was the one that was considered uncool. In all honesty, because everyone was emo except
and you were just listening to other shit. Yeah,
I was I just had long hair.
Because I just thought that was so cool. Because I was first time I ever heard swearing, and I just remember I was these guys are just this is revolutionary.
I love Blink-182 growing up though. When especially through primary school, man, I was massively into Blink. Every kid was. It was
But Blink was kind of punk and surf and all that kind of thing. It was a bit more
everyone liked them.
You
know, and so I still don't mind.
Yeah, they're good. I think they're one of the other ones that also, I mean, not their newer stuff, but they're one of the ones where you go back and listen. It's I get why I like this, and it's still fun to listen to. But Good Charlotte and stuff, I go back and listen to that, and I'm this isn't good.
Good Charlotte's
not
on the
as
list.
quality.
Yeah, it's not as good. But I remember I used to love them, and I think Fall Out Boy are actually still quite good because Patrick Stump's got an awesome voice. So I think there's some Fall Out Boy stuff that holds up just because he's actually quite a talented vocalist. Not, the rest of the bands, I don't think Pete Wentz is the best bassist in the world, but, so there's stuff like that, which, I guess that's all on my list. But then I also have I just got so invested in this. I don't think a lot of people understand. I did a podcast about it on my own podcast a few weeks ago, and we talked about it pop punk for an hour and a half because like it was my life for like 5 years. I was playing in school bands before I started comedy, and like
I think I saw this clip.
yeah, like I listened to at one point like I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna check out Avril Lavigne, you know, because it was just a place in the genre I'd never gone. Yeah, like that stuff, and because I came in obviously very late, it was a bit tacky. Like it's, but yeah,
I remember that. I remember when that single dropped.
but that's kind of
That's
shit that is cool at parties. It's fun to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like a nostalgia.
Yeah, and
kind of
like
thing.
I was primary school age as well, so like, you know, and it was no one had heard anything like that before. Skater Boy, and like, you know,
It was like a girl
It was-
being like pop, I guess punk, which wasn't
that was probably the
mainstream
first
punk.
time I remember like a chick being like,
being
you know,
like, yeah, I can
pop
do what I
punkin'.
want. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
my
I was really
girlfriend
impressed
is-
with the spelling of Skater Boy as well. They used
Yeah.
number 8.
She was very ahead of the text lingo time.
Literally every
She set the
10-year-old,
precedent.
every 10-year-old in the world when they saw like the 8, they
And
were
boy
like,
was spelled like
that's
B-O-I.
genius.
Fuck, that's
Yeah.
so good.
Mind blown.
And now like that's the spelling of like the longest yeah boy ever.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my girlfriend's huge into Avril Lavigne. Like,
Oh, still?
still loves her. She doesn't chuck her on in the car or anything like that, but she'll
Right.
like put her on as a throwback kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, not that I'm into Nickelback, but
There we go.
She's married to Chad.
That's
Kroeger,
right.
is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
Which is
she
another,
was.
which could be considered
I think
another
more.
pretty guilty pleasure.
She was
like-
also with the guy from Sum 41 for a bit, or maybe she's with Chad now. She was with the lead singer of Sum 41 for a bit.
I didn't
think,
realize
as
that.
well.
But yeah. Whatever happened to Sum 41?
They're still around. The dude had like a big drug problem, and now they're kind of back.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember seeing
That's-
photos of him, and he was like rake thin.
The
and,
last
like,
album I listened to of theirs was Screaming Bloody Murder, and it was good, strong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were. So it's like because now that everyone who grew up, like when emo was at the
Yeah.
height, they're all
by the way, Luke,
hitting their mid
Sorry,
to late 20s
It
now.
probably come through on the
Oh, sorry.
on the feed. Sorry, I
That's
didn't want to
it.
disrupt, but
Yeah.
continue. Sorry.
Everyone who grew up listening to it was like high school age when the emo phase was like, you know, massive. They're all hitting like mid to late 20s now. So what do you do when you're in your mid to late 20s? Often you like go back and listen to the music you were listening to in
Yeah.
high school. So
Yeah.
like there seems to be like a bit of a revival, like a sort of a mini
Definitely.
revival of emo at the moment. Like I even saw like, I think it's Jackrabbit Slims or like one of those venues are doing like an Oh Snap like revival.
Yeah, Oh Snap was this huge event back in the day in Perth because like back then there was even fewer venues to go see live music.
Yeah,
Right.
It was
live music
fuck
was
all.
few and far between. You could go watch a cover band any night of the week, but you
Yeah.
couldn't go see original music anywhere.
So Oh Snap was this night where it was like pretty much everyone just fresh out of high school would go, and it was all, you know, bands covering Blink and
That was
Yeah.
like we had one in Melbourne called Bang. It was like a pop punk nightclub. kind of
exactly
thing.
the
Exactly
same.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like cheap drinks, and like they used to have like the local kind of up and coming like pop punk bands in the scene
Yeah.
like come. And I one time went and saw Kiss Chasey. It was they did a return show. Like they got back
I think
together
they did that
for
Oh
one
Snap
show.
at
Yeah, I
one
think
time.
they did a tour.
too,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to the one in Melbourne, and that was honestly sick. I love Kiss Chasey.
Do you remember Sugar Army?
What was
I
that?
remember the name.
Sugar Army. They were another like MySpace band.
Yeah.
But they were like up and coming, and then I knew that they weren't up and coming anymore because they played at my high school one time.
Yes, I had a band come play at my high school, and I just remember losing all respect.
Yeah.
Going like, why?
It's
are you
like, don't
here?
pander to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's two venues that you can't play if you're a band. One of is a high school, and the other is a Westfield shopping centre.
Yeah.
I worked at JB Hi-Fi for a little while many years ago, and I remember when I was working there, Delta Goodrem was performing in the
Yeah.
shopping centre, and they ordered in all these CDs, and fucking none of them went.
Yeah.
There was like
That's
hundreds
when
of
you know
Delta
your
Goodrem
career
CDs, and
is
like
Yeah,
barely
the
anywhere.
toilet.
Then she was like, quick, put me on as a judge on was she on The Voice?
I think so.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor a while back that apparently she wanted to do a stadium tour of Australia, and some promoter had to kind of say like, "Oh, I don't know if you'll sell out stadiums.
It's like, hey, try and sell out a 300-seater first before you book an arena.
She can play the cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Delta, if you want to.
Actually,
Come
I don't know
on.
if you guys ever came across this video on YouTube, but it's super cringe-worthy if you're into cringy stuff. And it's, I can't remember the guy's name, but you remember Savage Garden, right?
Yeah.
What was the singer's name? Daniel something?
Must be.
I just
can't
know
remember.
the song Affirmation. Like, I believe in.
Yeah, I remember that song.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers that song. But
That's the one where he's like singing about, the ideal lifestyle.
Yeah.
with the girl
yeah,
and all that.
exactly.
Yeah.
But there's a video where, and this is like well post Savage Garden as well. So at least 10 years after they had a major hit. And he's walking around the streets. I think it's in America. He might live in the US at the moment. And he's got a cameraman and he's holding a microphone. He's just walking up to random people, like going, "Oh, hey, how you going? Like, do you recognize me? Or like, do you remember Savage Garden?" And everyone's just like, I don't remember. I don't know who you are. And like everyone he asks,
And they uploaded it.
yeah, they uploaded it. Yeah, it's really like it's bizarre, man. I don't know what like.
And
I
it's
don't
like
know
not
whether,
even trying to be like self-deprecating for points or
I don't
anything,
know
or-
whether he was trying to be funny or whether he was. Yeah, I don't know, but
I love like because I watch so much comedy. I think there is this weird area sometimes in music and music videos where bands try and go for humor,
Yeah.
and sometimes they just completely miss the mark.
Well,
and
he's
like,
not a
dude, just
funny
stick
guy.
to music. Like
Yeah.
it's what you're good
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
I think the thing is the ironically lazy music video where they just like film it in their backyard and they're like dancing around and stuff and it looks like shit and they like haha like so
Yeah.
cheap, and it's kind of like it's a bit hacky now, like
Suppose it's just been done to death.
Isn't
Yeah.
that like all of Violent Soho's film clips? I've watched
Yeah.
a few of those garage ones where they're like, let's get a guy to skate through fire. That'll look sick in slow-mo.
I can picture it in my head now.
yeah. I do love Violent Soho though.
Oh, they're great.
They're
Just
awesome.
but they are that like garage kind of punk, like that. It's cool. I think it's
And they're all
I kinda
skating
like-
with their Queenslander rugby.
yeah.
shirts on.
I think I love the what Triple J has done for music
Yeah.
in general.
Liam's heading off now.
It's so weird that you didn't say goodbye. You just got up.
I was gonna. Goodbye, everybody.
It's just like the weirdest way to leave is to slink out of your chair and then go, all right, I'm just going to go now. Because imagine if we hadn't have acknowledged it, then you would have been like, you just would have like, it's like, man, Liam just shut the fuck up for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Gareth, do you want to sit in? Come on.
Gareth's coming in.
Yeah.
Round of applause for Gareth,
Gareth.
everyone. Gareth, welcome. What's your guilty pleasures? You have you had a
You'll just have to pull the mic closer to you. You just start talking.
All right. Well, we were talking about Blink 182 before. That got me thinking about Sum 41 and yeah, like when you're probably 15, all you want to listen to is just like angsty, a little bit of screaming,
yeah.
a little bit of like, oh, my heart's broken.
Yep.
Like, so Blink 182, I put that on the other week. I was just like, yeah. Actually, listening to your podcast, I started playing it at work. And
Yeah.
then I was just like,
A lot of
fuck,
people
literally
like
felt
messaged me after that podcast I did about emo and stuff. Yeah, they were like, man, I started listening back to all that shit this week, and I felt like I was in a time capsule. Like
Literally felt like I was 15 again.
Yeah.
Hey? I was like, oh, why does no one love me?
you were just like, internet, let's go first date, and you're like, I've been on heaps of dates.
Yep.
Like,
That was
it's so
pretty much
funny,
it.
isn't it? Like looking back, I think I brought it up on that podcast that I was listening to that song by Simple Plan, "I'm Just a Kid." And it's like, I'm just
Keys
a
up there, is it?
kid and life is a nightmare. And I remember actually thinking when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, man, this guy gets me. And then you grow up and you're like, that guy
What?
wasn't a kid. He
Yeah.
was 30.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare. And I'm like, dude, you probably have a mortgage. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you think your world's caving in at 15. And
Yeah.
you're just like going to school and you're like, oh, this music gets me. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
about.
You start, yeah, like you walk into school. I remember one day I walked in, and it was like, and you just like in your headphones, it's like, do you ever feel like breaking down? Yeah, and I was like, that's me. I was like, I hate humanities and English.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's so funny, man. That, and I think A lot of people listening to this will be like, "Yeah, I've been there." Like everyone listened to that music, and
Yeah.
I was just the guy who never left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't listen to like the trashy side of it anymore. Like I'll just put on like my actual favorites. I also listen to a lot of rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just the white boy Eminem. You
Yeah.
know, like just mainstream shit.
Guilty pleasure for me is probably Kodak Black.
Oh yeah. See, I've not. I know the name
Kodak Black.
because Chris D'Elia used to.
Oh,
roast
right, I
him
know
all
it
the time.
from Chris D'Elia's podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's kind of like spoken word meets like mumble rap,
Yeah.
and it's just horrendous. But the beat just gets you jumping sometimes, and you just gotta go with it.
But the thing is, those guys, like the mumble rappers,
Like
and
Lil
all
Pump
that,
and stuff.
yeah, they, a lot of the
I
time,
just think it's genius. I'm like, good on them. They know they suck.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but
definitely.
They're
they,
self-aware of it.
people love it because of the beat. But it's not even a lot of the time them doing the beat. They've got a producer doing the beat, and
Yeah.
so they're just like kind of this.
They're just like,
character.
just dye your dreadlocks pink and go, oh, and then that's a career.
Most of Kodak's like songs don't even rhyme. There's no like lyrical flow. There's no like, no,
'cause
it's
rhyming's
just
been
like,
done.
why do I like this? But I do. It's
Yeah.
terrible,
Is
but
it
it's
just
great.
guy doing like slam poetry over
Pretty
a beat?
much. Yeah.
Like power, where's it at? Violence, hello, goodbye.
And then just like speed that up.
Yeah,
that's
and then
it, pretty much.
but then just like something random in like crayons.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
and then you listen to it, you're like, I think I get it.
I think one of his lyrics is like, "I made $1 million off selling socks."
What?
Okay.
It's like,
Alright.
did you ever sell a sock though?
Definitely not.
No.
He might be
Definitely.
like Tom Elliott. We've got a mate who sells shoelaces.
That's not a business you ever think about.
Yeah, but it's a clever one. He does it well. Like they're like tight because he's a skater.
Yeah,
and he
right.
sells them, and he's always got them in his car, so he's always ready for a sale. And he gets them tie dyed and everything. They look great.
I've never thought like, man, I'd love some custom shoelaces.
yeah, they
Yeah,
they
you know what
actually
this
really
shoe's
good.
missing?
Yeah.
It's got a big range.
Tie-dye shoelaces. You know who's probably so rich? The person in the world who invented this, you know, the little hard bit that goes over the end of the shoelace so
Yeah.
you can thread it through? Whoever invented that, I bet you they're like on a yacht somewhere right now. And so these are always the richest people in the world.
Yeah,
Who
there was a
invent the shit that
documentary.
you use every day, but you just never think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wa-
Like Matt O'Kine has a great bit about it, about the guy who invents the sushi.
I was just about to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
It's like the best example of it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know the little fish that you get your soy
The
sauce
soy
in.
sauce ones, yeah.
The guy who was like, oh, he has a bit where like, oh, the guy who said, oh, we should put a little fish is just like so fuck off rich
Just
right now.
balling. I think the
I love
biggest
Matt O'Kine.
Yeah,
He's great.
really funny.
Sorry,
I
go.
the biggest landowner in New Zealand, the business, toilet paper. Started up a
Really?
toilet paper factory before anyone else was in New Zealand, and they just pumped it out.
You
Everyone
know what?
shits.
That was literally that was a guy going like, I poo a fair bit.
Yep.
Oh, I know my mate poos a fair bit. I should profit
But
out
it would
of
have been
these
just like
poo.
leaves and fucking tissues back then, because I think they would have started in probably when was New Zealand colonized? 1850
Yeah,
maybe.
he probably just made it for himself
Yeah.
one day, and he was like, "This is a bit of a ride, eh?"
Yeah.
He's-
New Zealand
This
started
mate
picking
goes
up.
over for a barbie, and then he's like goes to the toilet, and he's like, "Mate,
So are
what-
people
what-
just using like rags and I know we're completely off the topic
It
of
must have
music
been.
at this
It must have
point.
been.
It's yeah, it's a very loose podcast.
Yeah,
it
it's like
doesn't-
it's
it doesn't
pretty
matter.
loose. Sometimes we talk about buttholes and poos.
We'll bring it around to the butthole surfers somehow.
Yeah, right.
Back then, people were wearing like trousers that were made of sandpaper, though. So imagine what the quality of your toilet paper was.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
it
you could
would've been
nail a good
leaves.
toilet paper, like that would be a luxury item. The
Yeah.
same way that, like an iPhone is now.
Maybe you just had to duck down to the river, chuck a squat, and
Yep.
then flick up a bit of
Yeah, just
You know.
handmade bidet.
yeah.
And if it's if the
Yeah.
rapids are going, it's a good day. You don't
Yeah.
have to do much.
Speaking of shit, we can get back to my music. Oh,
Yeah.
No, we don't have to. It's all
Oh.
the same. My music, like people get it by now. Every single shit pop punk band you've ever heard of, I've listened to and enjoyed throughout
Yeah.
the years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else like I was, tragically.
Did you have 5 written down? You only said like 2 before. Do you have
Yeah,
more
yeah,
written down?
got
I
a
want to
couple
hear
more.
more of yours.
The first album I played on my Walkman, Green Day American Idiot.
Oh,
see, that was the
yeah.
first
When
album I've really
September
got into
ends.
as well.
Mm.
That
My
we
first
share.
one was the
It's probably
Good
why I'm
Charlotte.
so like broken inside. just listening to that.
Yeah.
Growing up as a kid, just like, oh wow, the world's so cold.
It's
You know-
so funny though when you're like 9 years old and there's these like dudes singing about American politics and you're like, I understand this. Yeah. You're just like, this speaks to me on a it shouldn't at all.
Yeah, and you're just like American Idiot and Holiday and all that.
Yep.
And you're living
Yeah.
this like super
When
political.
September ends is basically
Saint
just
Jimmy.
like that depression just like blows through the town.
You know, that album,
Dude, Boulevard of Broken Dreams is a track.
Yeah.
it is.
That is
Yep.
such a good song.
That whole album is brilliant. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people, the purists of Green Day say like, oh, that was the first album where they, sucked.
Oh, fuck
But
off.
American Idiot is great. Like I stopped listening to it for many years, and then like not out of choice, just exploring other music, and then I went back probably
Yeah.
10 years after I was last super into it, and I put it on like pretty ironically.
Yep.
And I was like, nah, fuck, this is actually really good still.
It's
actually,
great.
Yeah,
I appreciate it for now that I'm so much more informed about music and such. I appreciate it on such another, in another,
Level.
level or layer of
Yeah.
it or whatever. So
Yeah. I have
yeah.
no understanding of music at all, but I just enjoy
You're
the
just
sad
like,
sounds.
this makes me
It's
feel
fucking
something.
sick.
That's why you like Kodak Black. You're
Yeah,
just like, I
definitely.
don't know what he's talking about, but
It
it's
makes
something.
me jump.
Yeah.
One that I was tragically obsessed with was the Linkin Park and Jay-Z collision course, which was Numb and what was the
Encore.
Jay-Z? Encore. Thank
They're
you.
probably two of the best songs
do
ever
you
made.
want more?
Yeah.
I love them. Pump
Yeah.
Up, like good.
Everyone had that on the single. Remember when they used to do singles on
Yeah.
CDs?
Yeah.
Everyone had that single with their Kmart CD player stack that was, about that
Yeah.
big.
That
sitting
always
in the
gets
bedroom.
played at like nightclubs and stuff still, like in at parties and stuff. DJs drop
Yeah.
that all the time.
It must be in a certain key or something like that.
Yeah.
There's certain songs that are in certain keys that are very like mixable into other ones.
Right.
Because I like looked up like DJ Theory a little while back.
Yep.
And that if it's in, I can't remember, the exact key, but there's some songs that are in some keys that are very adaptable. And so they kind of keep them in a bank of like in between songs.
Yep.
And so I would imagine that's
Maybe
probably
that's
one
why.
of them. Yeah.
It's a good song. That came on 2 days ago. I was at Scarborough Beach eating with my parents. And it's like more of like a young person's bar, one of the places on the corner there.
Right.
And
Probably
just
Sandbar.
opposite the skate park.
Is it Sandbar?
Yeah, it's got like surfboards and stuff up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
Sandbar,
then
yeah.
that song came on, and my dad's like, "Oh, this is crap. Rap's just crap." And I was like, "Dad, he's pretty popular. Like, Jay-Z, he's probably one of the biggest."
Yeah.
He's like, "No one even likes this." I'm like, "Well, arguably people do." And then he's like, "Oh, let me guess." He goes, "I bet you like Eminem as well." And I was like, "Well, yeah, he's also very successful." He goes, "He's not relevant anymore." And I'm like, "Dad, he just sold out
Oh my
the
God.
MCG which is 100,000
Yep.
people, right?" And he's like, "Oh," and then he goes, "Yeah, well, mate, Hitler filled arenas as well." And I was like, "Oh my God."
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both Hitler and Eminem both tried to be artists, but only one succeeded.
Yeah.
So, if Eminem hadn't have got big, then he might have become the next Hitler. So thank fuck for Dr.
Yeah.
Dre.
Everyone who bought those tickets.
Yeah.
Didn't he try to get into art school or something and they rejected him?
Yeah,
Isn't
that
that
was
what
it.
happened?
Is
Was
this
a
Hitler
painter.
or Eminem?
Hitler.
Yeah, it was a painter.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
That was
yeah.
kind of someone like trashed him, and that's kind of where some theorists
Sworn
believe a lot of
revenge.
his rage,
yeah. But
Yeah.
stemmed from.
back to horrible music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anyone get as kind of soft spoken as me and enjoy the Plain White Tees?
I remember the
Do you like
band. I
Plain
don't remember
Plain
the
White
track.
Oh,
Tees?
is that
Hey
Hey
There,
There, Delilah?
Delilah? Yep.
Yeah, that
Oh,
came,
right, yeah.
came on at a shopping center, and I actually turned around to my girlfriend. This was like probably in the last week, and I was like, "This song makes me sad."
Yeah, I could probably
Yeah.
sing that whole thing.
It was in like a
right now
shop.
Still.
It was in like Kmart or something, and I was like, "I think I want to leave." Like it just made me miserable, and I was like, "This poor guy." Like this. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan.
Do the
No, it was
Kmarts
definitely-
in Melbourne have the whole like
all the
Kmart
same.
mum culture going on now?
Yeah, they're
Dude,
all
I
the
walked
same.
into the one up in Joondalup, which is like WA's premier
Yeah.
shopping center. I walked in, and I'm not even joking. It was like something out of like a movie set. And I walked in, and there's like pump and like yoga style music going, or active wear kind of music, and there was like mums with prams and coffees in activewear everywhere, and they're chatting to each other across the aisle. And I was like, I thought I was in their club, and I like felt rude just being there.
Right.
And it was fascinating. They've fully embraced the Kmart mum culture.
Yeah.
And
they're pumping out so much activewear now. Like they're trying to keep
Dude, they're
up with,
pumping
like,
out
Warner Jane and all that.
everything. They're like, if it can be made in a sweatshop, we'll sell
We'll do
it.
it.
You know, homewares.
I think I bought a shirt
activewear.
there for $3 the other day.
Yeah, that is evil.
Yeah.
For supporting that.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
That is being made
How do you
by
get
a
those prices
5-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whip the kids to work faster.
Yeah.
Well, this took a turn. I thought I ruined the vibe with the Hitler gag, but you've just really,
Yeah.
once again, stooped somehow lower. You know what? I was thought of something. It was like another guilty pleasure. I don't know, I don't know. I just think my whole life has been a guilty pleasure musically.
Yeah.
I think I think a lot of people trash the Chili Peppers. I brought them up before with that. I think a lot of
like
people
Chili
are
Peppers.
anti-Chili Peppers
Yeah,
though. I don't
there
know
are.
why.
Never bought an album as a kid, but I probably had maybe 4 or 5 singles. On
Yeah.
iTunes, I would have bought. Paid a good $1.70 for them each.
And was one of them like Snow?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Under the Bridge. I don't know why they're considered like I don't think many people do, but some people, particularly like musos, like consider them like a hacky band. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I genuinely just think they're
I
great.
think they are great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Maybe like funk rock's just not cool.
Yeah, maybe it got done to death at the time or something like that. In the
What are your thoughts on that like weird 90s phase of music where, you know, there was that weird period in time where I think we were all trying to move on from the 80s. We're like, all right, that's done. And then humanity was like, ooh. And it was like that early 2000s bit as well, where
Right,
it was like,
after
oh,
grunge
what
and
about,
everything.
yeah, like Nirvana happened. And they're like, that's good. But what's next? And then they were like, ooh, be boys, fly girls, put your hand. And everyone was like, no. Everyone was like,
Like
no.
the pop, like when
No,
club
yeah, it was
became
like
like a
pop-
popular.
It was
thing.
like almost when like pop music was really, really starting to like change.
Just before
From-
So Fresh.
Yeah, just like I had this album called Top of the Pops. It was a 2000s version of. It was literally the year 2000 version of So Fresh, and it had like. Do you remember the hamster dance on it?
I think
It was
you
like
know that song you just sung. I think that's the one that
Boom
Liam was
Funk
talking
MC.
about before that got sampled.
oh right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Okay.
the Boney M sample.
Yeah,
I think.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe. Because there was this album I had, and it was just, and I've gone back and listened to it, and it was bizarre. It had "Be Boys Fly Girls" by Boom Funk MC. It had the hamster dance. Do you remember?
Oh, I
that?
forgot
You know,
that
diddly
one.
la diddly doo doo dee, like before the
Yes.
Crazy
Like
Frog.
school disco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
That was the
man.
original Crazy Frog.
Yeah.
it had that boot scooting baby on it. My boots getting
Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah, Cotton Eye. It was just one of
That's
the most
terrible music.
bizarre
That's all
albums
terrible
of all
music.
time. It's all bad.
It's like year 3, 4, 5 disco stuff.
Yeah.
And you just
Yeah.
You know, it was a shitty song that happened like year 6, 7 disco for me. Like a G6. Every single disco was like a G. I was like, shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
This is bad music.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was that weird part in 2000 where music just took a turn,
Yeah.
and it wasn't for the better. Like obviously some good stuff came out of it. You know, there was like Oasis. They had ones.
Trying
2
to think
songs.
of albums that I love from the early 2000s.
You can't.
But Queens of the Stone Age released their like iconic
Well, there's
songs to the death back then.
there was good stuff like Blink were putting out
Yeah.
albums up, but not in like that pop. There's no
Not in
good
the
pop
pop,
music.
yeah.
I'm gonna look up their
There's
track
always
listing for this album.
redeeming, you know, artists of each genre and time period and everything, but I can't really think of one. Maybe Chemical Brothers were pretty popular in
that's
the
true.
early 2000s, and they're great. And Fatboy Slim.
Mhm.
Fatboy Slim was a icon of that time.
Dude, I'm looking at the track listing of this album I was talking about. I don't even know. I know one song off it now, like Yellow by Coldplay. Dude,
This
there's
was
like
kind of the time when everyone was just trying to pump out singles, not
yeah,
so much
like
albums.
Daft Punk were
It was
just
like,
beginning.
let's get
Yeah.
a pop track on and let's get in the charts.
Because like not so much for the consumer, but digital distribution was becoming
Yep.
a thing for radio stations and all that. So it was kind of like, why are we banking up things into albums? Let's just put them into singles and
Yep.
send them out
Pump
that
them
way.
out,
But
make a
then,
coin.
remember the Venga Boys? Like boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
That-
Mhm, what you
Oh,
live
That
on.
one
I
got
know
played
what you
through
mean.
high
Yeah.
school as well, though, at parties, and I hated it.
Jesus. Oh,
Right.
remember Eiffel 65?
Yeah.
I'm
blue.
blue.
I
Oh.
sent that in an Instagram direct to
Now-
a mate yesterday.
Oh god. Are you team if I was green I would die or yabba dee dabba die?
Yabba dee dabba die.
What is the lyric? Is it yabba dee dabba die or is it green I would die?
we can
I would say one of the most argued
yabba
things of
dee
all
yabba
time.
die. I'm gonna say yabba dee yabba die.
Should I look it up?
Yeah, look it up.
Go for it.
I mean, hopefully Eiffel 65
I think
have it.
is Genius the go-to lyric database these days?
I'm blue.
Because I remember when I
lyrics.
was like in high school and I would look up lyrics and there were so many lyric sites back
Why are we
in the
looking
day.
them up? Just so you can post them on your Facebook and be deep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Status,
You
3
nailed it.
paragraphs.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to post stuff like, hello there, the angel from my nightmare, the shadow in the background. And everyone
Yeah.
was like, wow, 4 likes, you know.
Well, I used to do that in the days when that you would put that as your MSN Messenger, status, not your name but your status.
Or like your
Did you ever get
favourite-
into
your
using
favourite
MSN
song quote.
Messenger?
Yeah. Coolies, man, in their squiggly writing. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
BRB, and then the little thing goes and runs out of the thing.
Yeah.
GTG.
And then
Remember
you-
that, like, imagine reading back the transcript of those conversations.
Oh.
Like now, you're just going like, you're talking to each other in like code. You're like, like it was so hard to just type.
Yeah.
And then people would make like a group chat and they'd add in like 50 randoms and you'd probably know like 3 people in the group.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
just watching this kind of like shit show just unfold. in
And they'd
front of
have all
your
the
eyes.
winks, which were the animations that would layer
Yeah.
over, and they'd be like the hand knocking on the glass of your monitor, and it'd be like ding ding ding.
I remember it was like considered cool, like to just like come home from school and jump straight on
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
MSN.
See you on MSN at 4.
and you just like do like you wouldn't really do anything. Like you just message people who you already spoke to
Yeah.
earlier in the day at school. You'd be like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Nothing." What about you? It's like, "Nah, just doing
Say
the same
2-minute
shit."
noodles.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is. I just looked it up. It is dabba dee dabba die.
Ah,
So not even yappa dee.
they were
There you go.
dabbing before it was a thing.
Yeah. Wow. I was about to say they were dabbing before it was cool, but I don't think it ever was. That's funny.
Yeah, I think my
Um,
year 7 MSN quote would probably been 50 Cent tracks.
Yeah.
Probably just would have been 50 Cent lyrics.
What, you
in it.
just writing shit like
I
in
just-
the club?
Yeah, like get money, die trying, like.
Yeah.
Or
You, like, get money, die trying as you roll up to your like part-time job at a fish and chip
Yeah.
shop. You're like, getting that bread. It's like literally I work at a bakery now.
Yeah, or you'd post all like your fucking 6 mates and they'd all have like an emoji after them in it. And it would be like, you're like one of the boys if you made it into their quote for their messenger.
Yeah.
No one else tagged their mates in their quotes. In your like MSN, you could like share your
Oh,
in the same thing you'd put your music quotes and whatever. Heaps of people would be like, my best mates are Jack, Tom.
Yeah.
oh
That's
yeah,
it.
'cause
Yeah,
that was like
yeah.
Loaded with
after
That was
MySpace top 5,
I think
wasn't
it was
it?
before MySpace top 5.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I never had MySpace. I came in to...
I didn't use MySpace all that much.
How old are you guys?
I'm 26.
And how old are you?
21.
Right. So you wouldn't have had MySpace either. You're too young. Yeah, I came in. Some of my friends had it, but not all of them. So then they came in. The only friends of mine who had MySpace were the kids who like had shit parents, and they let them get it when they were like 10.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So like the ones who parents kind of supervised it maybe to like 12, we all missed out on. And then the Facebook became a thing, so everyone just had Facebook.
Yeah. I
Like
remember
2012
Facebook was
onwards.
uncool because you couldn't customize it.
You could.
You couldn't customize it. It was like a white thing. Because remember, it was just like
Oh,
a white
MySpace
default.
was all about like
Like,
yeah,
backgrounds
show
and,
my
like,
personality.
GIFs and
Yeah.
You know. Did you ever get into was it Pixo?
What's that?
It was this where it was kind of like MySpace, but you could code HTML on it.
Oh,
And
no.
it was
way.
user friendly, so like they had all like everyone was on it. But that was like year 7, year 8 for me.
Was
And,
this
like-
when people were kind of selling MySpace themes to other people?
No, Pixar was its own social network, but it was kind of like if you had you know that Simpsons episode where Homer makes a website and it's got like the dancing Jesus and all that shit on it,
Yeah.
and just like it's overloaded with animations. That's Pixar.
This is gonna blow your mind. I'm that guy.
You don't watch Simpsons?
Never seen a whole Simpsons episode.
No
the
shit.
entire way through.
Man, okay, there's a lot to unpack here because Gareth,
No,
We've
it's,
talked
it's
about this.
very interesting. Like
It
it's,
is
and it's
interesting.
so bizarre because I'm so into comedy and stuff as
right?
well.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not that I really wasn't. I definitely wasn't allowed to watch it when I was really young.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I got older, I just wasn't interested. I tried it and I was like, I get it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I like Family Guy more
Right.
because it was funnier, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I-
tended
I
to be
big
funnier.
Family Guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Family Guy was kind of aimed at maybe 4 years older.
Yeah, but I've also never watched South Park properly either. And I know that's a great show. Like, I know the writing is
Yeah,
incredible.
right.
And I haven't heard nothing but amazing things. I just...
That might actually
cartoons.
be
I
good
don't really
for
watch
you.
cartoons.
That might actually be good for you because, like, I feel like a lot of people kind of picked up their humor from South
South
Park,
Park.
Simpsons.
I was about to say
and
that.
like
Yeah.
you doing comedy, it'd probably be good to come from a completely new perspective.
Man, I came from like a background of no comedy, like amusing myself,
Yeah.
which I think is why I'm always just joking around and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was like a sporty kid, wasn't really into comedy.
Yeah.
I saw comedy for the first time live 3 months before I started it.
True.
Yeah, there, but go. Ask me about The Simpsons.
Oh no, I was just gonna say because
What do you wanna know?
we've talked about this because Gareth and I used to work together. We've talked about this before. I'm 99% sure about like the thought of how The Simpsons is, because to me, The Simpsons is like on the same level as like Star Wars. Like it always existed for as long as I've been alive.
Yep.
And it's so ingrained in like my upbringing, you know, and it's always been around. It's a constant.
And
like,
I reckon I
taxes.
hear like that sentence, oh, you know, like that episode of The Simpsons, probably more than any other pop culture reference in history. Like,
Yeah,
and this is why I always have to be like, I don't know.
I was that guy with Lord of the Rings.
But because there's so many, 22 seasons or what are
There's
they
like
now?
30 now.
30,
It's
right.
soulless now. Like
Yeah.
I haven't kept up for
It's
the last
literally
15
like
or
Simpsons
so.
did it is a thing. Like they've done everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they've probably made every joke at
Yeah.
every angle you could possibly make at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. The last episode of this podcast was Liam ranked his top 5 Simpsons musical guests. And we talked
Right.
about that. And there's literally an episode of the early Simpsons where it's George Harrison and actually George Harrison.
Right.
And Homer
See,
has like a barbershop quartet group.
I didn't
And
even
George
know.
Harrison rolls past and he just winds down the window and he goes, "It's been done."
Right. See, I
And
didn't even
drives
know like
off.
some of the minor characters. I know the main family. I know Krusty.
Oh, George Harrison was one of the Beatles.
Yeah, I know
Oh,
who
right.
George Harrison is. Yes. No, I know you're talking about music guests, but I was just saying in the show, I don't actually know barely anything about the show in general.
Yeah.
Blink-182 were also on The Simpsons
They
at
were on
one
the.
point.
We talked about it as well on the last
Yeah.
podcast. They were on the 300th episode alongside
Right.
Tony Hawk.
Yes. Yeah. I knew that. I've seen that scene because
Yeah.
I like them. I've hardly seen. I've seen the bit where Bart's dick comes out in the movie when he's skateboarding.
Gets
Oh, that's
blasted
from
on
the
the
movie.
window.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie either. That's just a thing I missed.
Yeah, because I think a lot about how, you know, our generation. Like, how old are you, Luke?
23.
Right. So a lot of our generation is like humor as they were growing up, watching 6 O'Clock Simpsons and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Their sense of humor is informed by The Simpsons. It was kind of like a staple for
This
that
is how
for a
funny
lot
works.
of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And what I love about The Simpsons is I've seen that many episodes that many times from when I was young. Like, I don't watch it too much these days, but when I do go back and watch it, I remember all the scenes and I remember all the jokes and the timing of it. But now that, like I was talking about with music before, now that I understand comedy a bit more and a lot of the kind of more adult themes of their humor,
Yeah. Went over your head as a kid.
you hear jokes that you laughed at before and you remember the joke, but you have a completely new level of appreciation for them.
Yes. You're like,
Um,
oh, that's actually quite clever.
There's an episode where Bart is being babysat, and as soon as the door closes, he's being all sweet and all that, and then as soon as Homer and Marge leave, the door closes. The babysitter turns to him and he's like, "So you're one of those don't call me a chicks."
I wonder how that would go down
I remember
now.
laughing at that as a kid, but not really getting it. But now that I'm older, and I think it's probably that joke's probably aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
It's
That's even more relevant
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's yeah. I think a big.
So are they still making Simpsons episodes?
They are. They don't even release them on DVD or anything anymore. That's how much like it's just an episode meal. Like
What
that
do
was
they release now? Where do they release it on?
just on
Fox
Fox?
8 or something.
It's Simpsons is just a licensed print money. Like
So
the-
people still watch it and keep up to date.
yeah.
Do you reckon anyone watches it like how they watch Game of Thrones? We're like, fuck, can't wait for the next Simpsons
Part up
episode.
2 next week.
Do you reckon everyone's like, oh man, I must know what Bart did at school today? It's like, why isn't that dude ever aged?
I feel like it would be all like, you know, 40 to 50-year-old white guys who are
Yeah.
just like remembering the good old days of The Simpsons,
Well,
and
I
they
think that's
don't
why
mind too much.
when I do watch it now, I guess I see the appeal, but I don't. I have no like nostalgic connection with it.
Yeah.
So I kind of view it from like an adult. Imagine if you're an adult who'd never watched it.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it like it is kind of a kid's show
Oh,
in a way.
it is.
Definitely.
But
Depends
I,
on
like,
the episode.
it's because
like
my favorite shows are all like kind of like I love The Office. Like that kind of comedy is like
Yeah.
it's just like uncomfortable and it's like laugh out loud funny, but it's
Yeah.
I don't like laugh track shit.
The Office is one of my favorites.
Like I've watched all of Friends before, but I
can't get into
it's
Friends.
alright.
Who would be like your most overrated comedian and your most underrated comedian?
Overrated.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, you put him into a bit of a corner there.
Overrated. I don't want to say it though.
All right, we'll go.
No, don't. No
underrated then.
pressure. You don't have to.
No,
Go underrated.
comedic. Like his thing. I love him as a person, and I'm just not into his stand up. I think I've seen him live as well.
Yeah.
I love his hustle and stuff. Love Kevin Hart as a person.
Yeah.
Love what he's done for comedy. He's changed the game in a way.
Yeah.
Just I don't enjoy his stand up. Like I went to see
Yeah.
him one time and I just was like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
It's very like I think a lot of people are like that maybe. Like and he has these huge specials on Netflix and I try and watch them. I'm just like, yeah.
Do you think that's because he's trying to appeal to that just whole mainstream though?
Maybe he just does too many movies.
Because he's probably like the
because he used to be
most-
great. I've seen some of his old
Yeah.
stuff. You watch some of those old clips online when he was coming up, and he was.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he got to where he was. You know, now he just does one too many movies with The Rock. I guess doesn't
Yeah.
have time.
Yeah.
Like you got to
Yeah.
do stand up 4 nights a week to be any good at it.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
guys who are killing it right now, like Bill Burr and stuff, Dave Chappelle, they're doing it
Non-stop.
4 nights a week at
Yeah.
the store. They're doing spots. They're working on gear because you just lose it if you stop. Imagine going to another country, filming fucking Jumanji, and then coming back to a comedy club and trying to get a laugh.
Yeah.
You'd be
That
like,
was actually a funny film, though.
right.
Did you watch the new Jumanji?
No, but
It's actually
I
quality.
hated
it's
the
probably
You got
funny.
a spare Sunday Arvo.
Yeah,
watch it.
It's
actually
got a great cast. No
it was
reason why it shouldn't be
surprisingly
funny.
good.
It's got Jack Black, The Rock. That should be
Yeah,
funny.
no
Kevin
reason why
Hart.
it shouldn't be good, but you're sounding like it's like already you've written it off. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, I wrote it off. I write some movies off when I see the trailer.
Yeah. Oh,
definitely.
Like
It's very easy to these days. Some trailers are
every
fucking
Disney
shit.
remake, man.
Yeah, I refuse. Just like write a new story.
Yeah.
You've got writers. Why
It's
rehash
like The
same
Lion
thing?
King. I saw it and I was like, don't want to watch that. It's shot for. I've seen The Lion King. Great.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
need to watch it live animated.
It's the same kind of like appeal that Avatar had. Like Avatar was a good movie standalone, but when Avatar came out, it was the first like major. What do they call that 3D
3D,
technique? Is it
yeah.
not stereoscopic? Is it stereoscopic?
I have no idea.
It was
Yeah.
pretty much like the first thing that was actually 3D because the only thing before that was like Spy Kids,
Spike
Or
is 3D with
Yeah.
the red
Shrek
and
3D.
blue.
Shrek.
Where they give you the glasses
Yeah,
and
Shrek
the
4D
DVD case.
and Movie World.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Donkey spits and then water comes out of the seat in front of you.
Yeah, that was I don't know, like, what do you think? Like, because Seinfeld, I respect, but his stand up I can't get into.
I as a like a comedy fan, I love like I will listen probably to more Seinfeld and Kevin Hart guests on podcasts than I would any other people because I just love
yeah,
what they have to do with it. The
Yeah.
actual act itself, yeah, there's a lot of comedians that I love more. Like my favorite comedians would be like Bill Burr's new special was great. I loved Aziz Ansari's new special. It was
I haven't watched it
really really good.
yet. Yeah,
Ricky Gervais's special was great. I guess I kind of even more into that edgier kind of
Have you
Yeah.
seen Ricky Gervais' new show?
the humanity one.
No,
like
the
his
dying
actual
one?
He's made like an actual TV
Oh,
show.
Afterlife.
Yes,
No,
that
I
one.
haven't watched it yet. Apparently,
my
it's great.
mum loves it.
It's
Yeah.
pretty
She's like, it's
funny.
got such a sweet story.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I love the silly shit. Like I love Chris D'Elia, Theo Vaughn, like all the podcast guys in America.
Yep.
Andrew Santino is also great. But yeah, Seinfeld is like, you're right. I get the appeal. I'm like, totally, he's great, observational. And there's some sets I've seen him do where I'm like, that's proper funny.
Yeah,
And there's other stuff where I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
it's just like, how can you pull apart socks? You know, you might talk about socks for 5 minutes, and then the sock, when you put on the sock, and it's like, and you're just like, yeah, I get it. Everyone puts on socks, and it's relatable, but I'm not like
Yeah.
pissing. I never find myself really laughing hard at it. I'm
yeah.
often appreciating it from like this is really well written.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
show is great, by the way. The show is
Yeah.
incredible.
What about do you dig Curb Your Enthusiasm? Because that for me, like I rate Curb higher than Seinfeld.
Was Larry.
That's
Dean
Larry David's show.
Not Larry Dean. Larry David's show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen a couple of episodes of that.
Yeah, I love it. I could watch that for the rest of eternity on loop. Like that cracks me up. That
I
show.
love comedians in cars. I think that's a great show.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Awesome
that one.
show. Oh yeah, that's the thing. I think I love what those guys have just done. I mean, they changed comedy. They make comedy cool, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think they're great. There's obviously a reason why they're huge, because that the appeal of Seinfeld is like every mum and dad is like love Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just people our age, we've grown up. Maybe times have
Not
changed.
wanting to
We
see it
swear
on the
more
TV, I
even
think.
amongst our friends.
Yeah.
Just culture's changed, and I guess our comedic tastes have moved to, you're right, Family Guys, and that we grew up watching different things. So I think we almost like need edgier shit to get the laugh now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, I guess.
Yeah.
But
For me, Seinfeld was like you'd come home and it would just be on the telly all the time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of almost like Neighbours to me. It was like, oh yeah, Seinfeld's on again.
Yeah.
Like I didn't actually find any enjoyment in it. It was just like, oh, here comes the
Right.
laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Seinfeld is really like it's clever. It's
Well written.
clever,
Definitely
well
well written.
Friends is a bit like, and Joey's gonna say something dumb
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah.
they're on a break. Oh, they went. It's funny, and I like it. Like Chandler, there's some lines in Friends that crack me the fuck up. Don't get me wrong, but you're right. There is a certain level of you put it on, and you're like, I know what I'm watching here.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
watched it before. And I used to love How I Met Your Mother. Really, I thought that was a great show.
Yeah.
I watched
How I
all
Met
of
Your
that.
Mother?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I got into
really
that
good
one.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like all the basic ones. I hate The Big Bang Theory. I just
Yeah.
cannot get around that.
Yeah.
No, it's poorly written. Have you watched the show? Like, have you watched it online without the laugh track?
Yeah, I've seen
It's
that.
amazing. Like you realize that they're not making jokes. They're just saying shit like, "Hey, Sheldon, have you been to the comics book store yet?" And he's like, "You bet." And then they all pause, and
That's
without the
funny.
laugh track in that, like, "Ha, you bet," it's just they go. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like you watch it without the laugh track, and you're
They're
like,
just
"Oh, there's
waiting
no
for it.
jokes. This is just a conversation," and they pause.
Do they?
We should get a laugh button
You
for
bet
this.
is not a joke. Like just because he's
Yeah.
a nerd, like did you go to the comic shop and he's like, "You bet," and it's like that's not funny.
Yeah.
It's
Do-
like, yes, I get he's a nerd, and that's what nerds do, but that's the joke.
Do they actually record it in front of a live audience? Like I know they say that.
I
like
think so, and then I've heard that they have to
And they
punch it up a
still
bit in
click
the
the
edit
laugh
because
button.
apparently it doesn't hit with the audience. But
yeah.
you know what? Again, I have like no. That's why I don't like being negative about things, because it's like they're making $1 million an episode,
yeah.
and who am I to
I think
fucking
Friends
shit
are
on
like
that?
20
exactly.
mil
Yeah,
royalties
good on
each
him.
or something.
Yeah. Did you see that thing that Osher Gunsberg wrote about some guy? He clapped back at some guy who was saying he made a Gantt chart of all the times of the year that The Bachelor is on between Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, and
Yeah.
then The American Bachelor, and then there was only like 15 weeks or something like that
Yeah.
where The Bachelor was not on, and he tagged Osher in it, and he was like, "Can you go off the air?" And Osher was like, "Hey mate, how about you let us pay our bills and make our money and
Yeah.
all that?" And the guy he was like, "Yeah, I can't argue with that." Actually,
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's my job. Like,
yeah,
people, it's like, imagine if you're like, "Hey, mate, can you stop doing accounting? It's really pissing me the fuck off." You'd be like, "No, well, that's my livelihood."
Yeah.
You'd be like, "How dare you?" You're right. Yeah, I think there's a lot. And I was like, that's why people always hate on like YouTubers like Logan Paul and stuff. And I get
That's
if you
all
find
planned.
that.
That is
Of course.
Yeah.
This might be
he was on
controversial.
Theo's podcast
Dude,
the other day.
I love, with Tim Dillon, it was great.
It was funny.
I love Logan Paul.
Really?
He's so calculated, man. You have
Dude,
to give him credit.
he's a genius. He knows
Yeah.
and you know what? Jake Paul's a fucking moron. His brothers, you can
I don't know
tell.
much about
You
Jake
can
Paul.
tell his brother is like a genuine, like
Yeah, he's just running.
Sometimes I can see
puppeteering
his
it.
brain thinking, and I'm like, "Hurry up!"
Yeah.
You know, it's delayed. His brain is on dial-up. That dude, it's running like it's always rendering. Like it's fucked. He's just like he's one of those guys. Yeah, you can hear him buffering like as he's speaking. But no, Logan's really switched on, and like, yes, that's suicide.
He knows how to play the
Suicide
market.
Forest thing was fucked up, and you shouldn't
that
have
was
done that.
purely
Yeah.
planned. I
No,
reckon
it
that-
wasn't.
No,
I
I don't think he would
No, it
have
wasn't. No, wait.
realized.
Why would
that-
you? That one.
I think he was just trying to get controversy,
Didn't
and he's
he
like,
get a-
"This is eventually going to blow over if I just lay low for a bit."
Yeah, I don't know.
think that is not what. Like that went. That was too far.
I think he knew
Mate,
it was contro, but I,
I
don't
think
think
he knew it would get
how
people
bad.
talking. I think he was. There was definitely. I've heard him talk about it a lot on podcasts because that's the thing. I didn't like him back
Yeah.
in that era where he was just churning out shit, and I was like, I get what he's doing. Yeah, he's doing
Yeah.
everything to get views, and it's working. But I think he did get a bit caught up in it and be like, and he almost get
He
feeling.
lost some contracts.
Yeah,
over it.
but you'd feel invincible. Imagine
yeah,
if no
for
one
sure.
had ever told you no before. Like you come from Ohio, you make it in LA, you become the biggest Vine star. Then you kill Vine, that ends. You're like, all right, what's next? Then you kill YouTube, become the biggest YouTuber in the world. It's like, why wouldn't he
Yeah.
go to Japan and do something fucking crazy?
But
And-
didn't Vice do it as
Not
well?
saying you should, and that was
Yeah,
horrible.
but it was the tone of it.
I get.
It's the intent.
What do you mean?
Gareth mentioned that Vice did an article in the same forest where they went through and they were following a guy whose job it is to kind of retrieve the bodies.
Did they film? That's
They
different.
filmed it,
Because
but
I
it
never
was-
watched Logan's video.
I did. It was just.
Dude,
so
he's
they
got
were-
a Mike Wazowski hat on and he's like...
No. It was the aliens from Toy Story.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
just more
it's
like
not. It's the tone of it is just
the
so
tone
off.
of it is
Yeah.
just like they filmed it, and I think the tone of it was like, what's gonna happen? And it's
Yeah.
like, hey man, I think they thought it'd be like a horror. Well, that's what he said. We thought it'd be
Yeah.
like a horror type, get a ghost story out of it, and then. Even if say when you're filming, and I film videos a lot and stuff, if you're in that situation, you did see the body, I would just be like, let's go. This isn't fun
cut it.
anymore. Also, I wouldn't probably go into that. Racker have done a video where they've gone into the same forest and they were just camped
did
out,
they?
and yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, being in the forest, there's
did.
nothing wrong with it, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's a
Spooky
thing.
forest.
And it was a spooky forest, and that's all they did. And they did like the fake horror thing, and they were scaring each other in the
Yeah.
tents, and that's a little different.
They get
I think-
away with a lot of stuff
They
as well.
do.
They're funny though.
Yeah, they're great.
I like their
Yeah.
videos a lot.
I stayed at the Racker Mansion once for a week.
Oh,
It
right.
was the weirdest week of ever.
Is it as
Just-
crazy as they are in the
Yeah,
videos?
they're just nuts. Like some days you go outside, like, all right, today we're jumping off the balcony, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah,
Yeah.
they do
Good-
their own
good on
stunts.
them,
They're
though,
wild.
like-
They're cool.
Yeah.
But,
They're kind of like the more intense angry dad
Yeah,
brothers.
yeah, for sure. And with a lot of editing and filmmaking talent as well.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think the Logan thing was, and now I think what he's doing is genius. He's
Yep.
going on all these, obviously he's had kid fans. He's really transitioning now into like an adult market. He's smart. A lot of them just like, they don't realize, I'm like, these kids aren't going to be kids forever. Like they're going to
Yeah,
grow out of
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Logan's putting himself on Theo's podcast, getting a lot of hate from it, you
Mm.
know, going, well, fuck this guy. But they'll come around.
Yeah.
Everyone will come around to him.
I came around to PewDiePie. Like,
yeah, everyone.
Pewdie-
I was
I
just say
like
people
PewDiePie.
hated PewDiePie for a minute. There.
I worked at EB Games when PewDiePie was like the big thing.
Yeah.
When he first got huge. And I remember, just to paint a picture of how ridiculously influential PewDiePie was back when he was pandering to, you know, the younger audience. One time, like, because part of my job was, you know, you'd accept deliveries and unbox them and everything. Skate 3, do you remember Skate 3
Yeah.
on the 360? Had been out for years at that point. And what happens with a lot of games is they'll get printed and then they don't get printed, and the only way to get it really is secondhand.
Yeah.
And so Skate 3 by that point had been out for years, was pretty much a secondhand title, never got printed new. One day I'm unboxing all these boxes, and I'm not even joking, like 50 copies of Skate 3 come in brand new, and I was like, what the fuck is with this? Like, this old game, no one's going to buy this.
Yeah.
And then people all these kids started coming
dude,
and buying Skate 3.
It's the best game that's ever been made.
It's an awesome game, but
Yeah.
like it was, you know, people who had played Tony Hawk's were into it.
It's completely different.
It is very
like-
different, but
it's on another level.
it's one of my favorite games
Yeah.
as well.
I'm more of a Tony Hawk guy because it's simple and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Skate 3
Skate 3
is
was a
like,
bit more
if you're an actual
simulation.
skater and you play
Yeah.
Skate 3, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I can actually show off my steeziness.
Yeah.
Like it's completely
Yeah.
different. Whereas Tony Hawk's like every 360 looks exactly the same.
yeah.
Whereas like Skate 3, you've got to like stick your landing. You've got to know your finger movements. You could actually play like games of skate with people, and it would probably be just as difficult as, you know,
yeah.
trying to do it in real life if you didn't know what you're actually doing.
Yeah, right.
And all these kids were like coming in, buying these copies of Skate 3, and I was like, what the hell? And I said to one of them, I was like, oh, what's with Skate 3? Like, and he was like, oh, yeah, we've been watching PewDiePie play it. And that was the reason. Like, so the buying department was watches what PewDiePie does, and if he brings out something, then EA or whoever will be like, all right, let's print this again because people want it.
So like, obviously the gaming companies were paying PewDiePie to play it.
No, not necessarily.
Really?
He just has that much.
He'll just it's just that much influence.
I know he does, but like, surely it got to a point where they were like, "Can you play our game?" So if that was the kind of pull he was.
Well, I've got another anecdote about that. There were, at that shopping center, there was also another JB Hi-Fi, and like we were kind of friendly with those guys. And one of the guys there, he was an indie game developer, and he was just making it, after he'd go home from work and all that. And he had a Kickstarter for it, and one of the tiers was like a ridiculously high tier, and it was like, if I get to this tier, I'm gonna quit my job and work on this game full time. One day he wakes up, PewDiePie has played the demo of his game, and it's hit that tier like within 24 hours.
Holy shit.
Like the amount of money that came in, and he legit quit his job and everything, and now he's I didn't really know, I know the guy's name is Jacob, I can't remember his last name, I didn't really know him all that well, but yeah, I know for sure he quit his job and just works on video games, and as far as I know, he still is.
That's
PewDiePie
awesome.
changing lives.
Yeah.
Out here doing God's work.
Yeah, he just woke up and his Kickstarter was going gangbusters, and he was like, what has happened?
That's
If you go on any of EA's Instagrams, generally, like, I think 50% of the comments are just bring Skate 4.
Yeah.
When Skate 4 coming
Skate
out.
4.
Isn't Skate 4 a thing? No.
Nah, if not for years. You go on,
they
go on their
making it?
Instagram,
They
and it's
keep on
all
like kind
Skate
of
4.
teasing like, oh, Skate 4 is going to come out next year, but then nothing happens, and they just all go quiet. And
Skate 4
if it
videos.
does drop, it's going to be
See,
crazy.
that's I couldn't play that game because it does sound complicated. And Tony Hawk's so good. It's just like, oh, you can grind for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like around the pool, you know?
Yeah, I used to love
I remember
that,
like the levels where I'd get stuck, I'd put the cheat code on for like infinite balance, and then I would just like find like, a power line or a pool or
you
something,
go to
right? And then go
Foundry
make
and you
a
just
sandwich.
do laps around the thing.
I remember unlocking Billy Joe Armstrong in Tony Hawk's.
Do you remember Shrek? You
Yeah,
go
in
Shrek.
Underground 2.
Darth Maul and Shrek. It was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never used them.
Yeah.
You never used them?
No.
You never were like wanted
I
to
don't
know
think I ever. I
what
mustn't
an
have played.
ogre looked like
I
skating.
mustn't have
Do
played
you have
that
a
Tony
soul,
Hawk
dude?
game. Damn.
You were never like, God, I wonder like if he's got layers to his skating ability as well, if his skating is like an onion,
What Tony Hawk was that? Was that?
That was Underground 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Billy Joe on that one. I remember I worked hard to unlock Billy Joe from Green
I used to
Day.
play Pro Skater 2 and 3 on the emulator in class, on the Nintendo 64 emulator.
Okay.
Dude, that was the shit. I used to play Pokemon, like
Yeah,
Fire
I used to
Red.
play Pokemon.
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah,
That
on
was
fast
good.
speed, where you do like you
Yeah.
speed up
Sprint
and you
twice
just
as quick.
sprint between all the things. You beat like 8 gyms in a day. It's great.
Did you get into like, because Flash games kind of disappeared very quickly? Did you have the Flash
Do you
games?
remember
going?
Helipad?
Which
That
one was
game where
Helipad?
you like you shoot the helicopters down when you run along? No, you didn't never
I
play
don't
that
think
one.
I played that one.
I
Damn.
probably did.
Flash games.
And you'd like get like a folder of
do you remember
just, like,
Dangerous Dave?
No.
Oh man, okay.
Joyrider?
What was
do you mean Line Rider?
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
Line
And you
Rider
just
was
like draw
sick.
the
Yeah,
line so
yeah.
you can
A
take
few
your
Flash
BMX.
games like came out as actual like console games. I remember Line Rider came out in the Nintendo DS, and I had
That
one of
was
those
so
Flash
good.
carts, so you could just like download the games.
Line
from the
Rider
internet.
was good.
Yeah.
And did you ever play N Plus, which was like a ninja kind of like wall running thing? You'd
I
have to
don't think
avoid
so.
like missiles and shit.
Yes, and the bombs and stuff would I know that one.
that was a great one.
Was it kind of like Oriental themed?
No,
No,
it was
like
a
futuristic.
white
Oh.
background.
Kind of
like
looked like
that.
Portal. If Portal was like a 2D,
Sure.
but there was no portals.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was an iconic one. That one ended up coming out and like they still release it on like PlayStation 4 and stuff now, just because it was so huge. Because you had sites like Miniclip and
Yeah, Miniclip, that was the shit. It was just whatever I used to play in class. Because we were, like every school worked out a way to like avoid the
Admin
Oh,
locks.
the proxies.
the locks and the
Yeah.
proxy. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just work out like a dark web way to play like Line Rider.
Yeah.
You're like going like you got to put in some code, and there's always one kid in the class who knew how to boycott it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
And a couple always got viruses too.
Yeah.
You see they're trying to ban mobile phones in schools in Victoria now?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see there's a Townsville trying to ban porn?
What?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's a
that's
I
a
saw that
legit
movement.
thing that's
yeah.
happening.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, how do you even police that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? What are you gonna do? Block it?
Just do
Yes.
like the China.
But it's
what's
like-
that? The China firewall just around Townsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like you could get a VPN. You know, it's not hard.
Well, in the UK, you have to register for porn access now.
What?
Yeah, you have to submit your driver's license. It's very controversial. It's just gone through. And so basically, you have to like submit your driver's license or some kind of identification, and then the ISP, like, there's some kind of digital technology where it verifies with the website your identity that you're over 18. It's basically to stop teenagers watching porn and getting the wrong idea about sex.
Right.
That's the motivation behind it.
But yeah,
Mm.
that'd be like a shit day
Yeah.
when you just wanted to go. You're like, oh, just imagine if you're just like, fucking, I'm heaving for a wank, but I gotta go down and show my ID to some guy.
I guess that's what you had to do back in the day.
I mean, you're not that much older.
No, back in the day.
Yeah,
like,
back
of
in the
like,
day.
you know, when before the internet.
Yeah,
That's like, I used to go down the porn cinemas.
Yeah,
Sit in
yeah.
the back row.
but that's why they want to ban phones. That's never gonna. I mean,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do? Like, is it gonna be like a concert where you like got to put it in the hat at the start of the day? Is that what it's gonna be like? Is that how they're gonna police it? Or
I say.
Well,
man,
my
I'm
high
trying to
school, you
ban
couldn't have-
myself from my phone. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not good. I try and like really avoid because that's my job.
Yeah, I
So,
was
like-
going to say, how do you manage, like, you know, pumping out all the content and all
Oh,
that
it's
and-
just like
mental health.
I don't use. I feel like I don't use social media for myself anymore. Like I like
Yeah,
to think
it's
that I
a-
wouldn't be
it's a
on it that much if
business.
it wasn't
Mhm.
my. I probably would be on it more, but because I use it for work, it makes me not want to use it.
Have you just
Yeah.
got the Luke Kidgell account?
Yeah, and I have like podcast account.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have
But you
like
don't have, like, a
no, I
private,
don't have
like,
a private one.
Your close
All my
mates,
friends just either got. I'm like, just unfollow me or just put me on mute if you
Yeah.
don't want to see me posting every day.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's the thing, if I'm friends with you, like, I'm just like, I'll actually hang out with you. You don't
Mhm.
need to see me doing
Yeah.
shit memes on Instagram stories. Well, a lot of them just watch it because they think it's funny, but
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them, some people who I know personally who enjoy my company in person do not enjoy maybe seeing, because I just post more than a normal person,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to maintain an audience. And
Capture them algorithms.
yeah, you got to like post every day, or
Yeah.
otherwise you just fall out.
Yeah. I've got a casual job running social media account, and it's
It's a nightmare. I spend
Yeah.
all day posting. Like Lewis and I have an ongoing joke about it. We just go like, "Who loves posting?" Like the other day, I posted 9 things in a day.
Does that
The
just
other
kill
day.
you a bit inside?
Yes, because you're posting like podcast clips. You might post 3 podcast clips, schedule them for the week. Then you upload a video on your main channel. Then you got to make a YouTube and a Facebook version of that video. Then you can make an Instagram TV version,
Yeah.
and then you got to like, and then you got to post it on Twitter, post it on your Instagram story. And by the time you do it, it's like an hour and a half later. Like, I've spent an hour and a half posting on social media.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
yeah.
Have you got like a
It's
checklist that you just like go through?
It's
on
just like a
Instagram?
mental check.
so you got
Yeah.
a video editor now, don't you?
It doesn't do everything, but yeah, I still do most of it. But
Oh, okay.
I was getting so overwhelmed with like literally making different file formats and I was
It's a
spending all
nightmare.
day just doing back end shit like that. And then no time writing comedy, which is like
Yeah.
I got into this to do comedy,
Yeah.
and then I realized I'm spending more time being a video editor than a comedian. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's expensive to hire someone, so I can only afford it to do it like a couple times a week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I don't know how businesses make money.
I know. That's
Like-
what I'm still trying to wrap my head around it as well.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just like,
just
how do
like-
you get
So how many like
profit?
I don't know if you want to talk about this, but like, have you got multiple income streams from it?
Oh yeah, like that's another weird thing about what I do is like I make the money from 8 different income
Yep.
streams throughout the year. Like there's Patreon, there's my live tours, but there's like in each one they're like really small amounts of
Yep.
money. But I guess if you add them up, it's like kind of a wage. you
Yeah.
know, like it's
Yeah.
it's like if you just worked a normal job 3-4 days a week, you'd probably make more money than me
Yep.
in a financial year. But also, it's the best job in the world.
Yeah.
Like I get to
Yeah.
just go to cool places, hang out all day. It's
Yep.
it's fun, but it's also a lot of hard work. But yeah, it's like there's YouTube revenue, Facebook have monetizing now. I go to shows like corporate stuff sometimes. I like here coming to Perth to do the Comedy Lounge.
Yep. So you're getting paid for
You
all
know,
those gigs at the comedy
yeah,
lounge
but you don't make enough money
for it to be
for
sustainable.
it to. You don't make
Just
a
that.
profit. You just make enough money because Perth's so expensive to come here.
Yep.
You just make enough money to break even.
Fair.
Probably lost money coming here, but it was just
Yeah.
like.
But it
I
was
just-
part of, you were saying it was part of like a holiday for you as well.
Oh, it wasn't that. It was more just like I just wanted to work on some new shit, and like you get to do 3 shows a night to an awesome crowd. Like the Comedy
Yeah.
Lounge here is such a sick venue.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just do that stuff. It's fine if I'm not losing money. I just, I'm like I wasn't going to be making money in Melbourne anyway, so I might as well just come here and
Win some, you lose some.
win. Yeah,
So the goal is probably sell as many tickets for the end of year show.
that's how I actually make my money. Yeah, the
Yep.
goal is like the videos are essentially like an ad.
Yep.
It's like a year-long ad where if you entertain people for free every single day, you hope that by the end of the year when you come to their town, they'll give you $30. When you say it like that, it's depressing.
Yep.
But that is the thing. Like, and people really take it for granted.
What
Like,
was it? What was the
I'm
place
gonna
that you
sell
guys
my.
were trying
I'm
to
gonna
sell
sell
out? Was
my.
it Gympie?
Sorry.
Was it Gympie that you were
Yeah,
trying to sell?
that was Lewis. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Lewis is putting on a show at Gympie, and Gympie's a hard place to sell in
Yeah.
on a Thursday night. But yeah, like it's just like I'm putting my special, the like comedy special that's coming out soon, on my website. Right, I'm selling it for $10 on my website.
Doing the Louis C.K.
Yeah,
stuff.
and I think that is very reasonable considering.
Yep.
It's 1/3 of the price of an actual show to go see a comedy show. Everyone's got $10,
Yep.
right? And I've spent 4 years working on that material, like countless hours and stuff. Like, and I almost feel like I'm ripping myself off only selling it for
outright.
$10, but I still know everyone's gonna be like, "Fuck you! Why is it on Netflix? Why can't I watch it for free?" It's because comedy's just been devalued at this point. Like, you can watch the best comedy specials in the world. Like, you can watch your favorite comedian for free, essentially, if you just have Netflix.
So what's someone like, I don't know, just any old comedian, like say you got a 7 out of 10 comedian, what's he selling his Netflix special to Netflix for?
I have no idea
No
what
clue.
the numbers are, and also
Yeah,
no
they're
one
pretty
even
secretive
Netflix
with
doesn't
the
even
numbers.
release stats of how it goes, like how many
Yeah.
plays it gets. They're really secretive.
So they
about
could be,
it.
you could be, selling your special to them for
Like,
like 10 grand.
I've
and
heard
they're
other
getting
comedians
millions.
talk about it, and
Kids.
they've just been like, they're like, "How's the special going?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, man, the shows are starting to get bigger, so I assume it went well."
Yeah.
Oh, they have no idea, and
Yep.
Netflix won't even tell the person.
Is that the same with
'Cause-
Stan?
So yeah, Stan, we've talked to Stan about my new special, and it's just a thing where like, maybe I'll probably put it on there eventually. Maybe I'm not that interested
Yeah.
because if they're not gonna pay for it, like I self-funded it, so it's like I spent 10 grand on it, and I just lose 10 grand if I gave it to them for free.
Yeah.
So
Why would you give it to him for free?
well, I just don't think they'd pay for it.
You
Like,
don't reckon?
here's the thing: they are very not interesting. Netflix are not interested in acquiring much Australian content.
Yep.
At the moment, Stan interested if they don't have to do anything. Like they're not interested in creating original content
Yep.
like Netflix is, but they'll very happily take it if
Because
they're
they
gonna,
had their like one night stand,
yeah.
like Tom Ballard and stuff. So would they have just been?
Amazon. So all the people with Token are about to do. I think they're filming it today. In Melbourne, they're about to do Amazon Prime.
I was about to say
Specials.
Prime's doing
Right.
And
specials now.
Prime is now, I reckon Prime's going to, because Amazon's such a huge brand,
Mhm.
I reckon Netflix might be in trouble.
Well, the thing is that I don't get with Amazon Prime is Amazon's the biggest company in the world.
Yeah.
Their streaming service has great titles, but the actual GUI of it or whatever the
Just-
actual presentation is so garbage.
All right. It's
Like, I
just hard
stopped-
to navigate and stuff.
Well, that and also it's not. So Netflix everything is calculated.
Right.
So last year I finished a communications degree, and part of that is my last semester I focused a lot on Netflix and how everything is presented to you, and
yeah.
every facet of that comes up for you with Netflix is calculated
Oh, like
based on what.
they know what I like and they nail it every time.
That's actually one of the mottos the CEO said is like Netflix knows what you love or something along the lines of that,
Yeah.
or that creates the content that you love, and the kind of
like
not
my
to get all, like,
girlfriend's and I's Netflix when you go on the homepage is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like to the point the cards, like the colors, they're thinking about the color theory of what colors are presented to you on certain cards.
Oh wow.
and everything. Yeah, they're super like every little facet. Whereas Prime Video doesn't sort it, so you have to wade through like 30, alien conspiracy docos
to get
to
something
find
into.
something like half decent.
Right.
Like there'll be like blockbusters, like
so they
20
don't,
deep, and
but they don't put their blockbusters front page. That's ridiculous.
They do have like sections for it, but like if you're going,
I thought they'd
if
be
you're going, like-
promoting the shit that they're paying a lot of money for. They'd be putting
Right.
it.
yeah,
They'd be like, if we've paid this much to get it on our platform, we're gonna fucking show it to you. 'Cause
yeah,
Yeah, but it is interesting with like Stan and stuff. Stan's getting quite popular. A lot of
Yeah.
people, Stan really,
Yeah.
I
really,
resubscribed the other day.
it stood the test of time because there was a moment where Presto and Stan were just
Presto was Telstra's one, wasn't it?
Presto, that died, didn't it? That's not
Yeah, I
around
think that
anymore.
was Telstra's kind of.
Yeah, they had an attempt and it failed, and for a bit it looked like Stan was going to be also a bit of a failure, and they really came back hard, invested in the Disney shit, got the
Yeah.
Marvel movies, and now it's up there with Netflix with quality.
yeah.
Netflix has dropped quality. I
Presto
think.
did have HBO content. That was the only thing.
Right.
So
I think
you could
Disney
get HBO
are actually
stuff.
going to drop their own version.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
they're
called
gonna-
Disney Plus, isn't it?
yeah, it comes out
Yeah.
in November.
Yeah, that might ruin Stan because
Mm.
Stan relies on the Pixar shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine that, all the Phineas and Ferb episodes.
That'd be dope.
Where am I going to go?
Imagine just like sitting down and watching Wizards of Waverly Place just
I was
on
thinking
repeat.
about that this morning. I was
You're
actually
like-
thinking
Well,
about Wizards of
Stan
Waverly
might
Place.
get DreamWorks or something, and then they got all the Shreks.
Yeah, but fucking iCarly, dude. You know.
Miranda. Oh, baby.
Yeah, nah, Shrek's dope. Shrek's on Netflix at the moment, I think. Netflix has
Oh
got
right,
Shrek,
they've locked Shrek.
That's
down.
why I'm with Netflix.
Yep.
I go wherever the ogres are at. That's my rule. I'm like, I dig my swamp wherever you put it. You know.
Yeah, like Netflix, like they not to get too like, Noam Chomsky or any too theoretical, but they're
But
kind of
insert the douchiest thing you've said so far in the podcast.
Yeah. And here I go. Is the kind of debate with Netflix doing this is that TV and media used to serve as like a cultural institution to inform like values and such, because we do derive those feelings from the media that we consume, and that once Netflix just sends you content that you already love, you're not having your perspectives challenged so much. You're just sitting in a little bit of an echo chamber.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love my bubble, my Luke
Yeah.
bubble. That's why it's like literally goes down to the music before. I'm still in that bubble and I like it. It's what I enjoy, and I'm happy with that. If you're happy,
Yeah.
you know,
As
I don't
time
want to be
goes on,
pushed.
I'm more all for the bubble.
But I'll also
Honestly.
sometimes just break out of my bubble and watch an episode of World's Toughest Prisons, and I'll be like, all right, that's my fix for the month, and I'll go back to whatever garbage I watch, like How I Met Your
Yeah.
Mother. I don't really watch many shows. I don't get
Neither-
time.
neither
I'm
do
always
I.
making so much shit myself that I actually consume very little. I consume
Yeah.
a lot of podcasts in the car. That's
Yeah.
it. Just when I'm driving, that's the only
Yeah.
chance I get.
I've had this thought before that kind of maybe the next 5 to 10 years is basically going to be like your content producers and then your content consumers. So like you're going to be one of those people that are just constantly pumping out content, and then there's the other people now that are just like
Constantly consuming
constantly
it. Yeah.
consuming. So
Well-
I think it's going to be
Well, what I think is going to happen is, I guess everyone is becoming a content creator these days,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone has an Instagram.
I think a lot
And-
of people are taking a backseat though. Like you can just put up one Snapchat story.
Of
and be like,
course, but
"Don't
there's a
forget
lot
about
of
me."
people with 500 followers and stuff giving it a go.
Yeah,
And I think what it's happening, especially, I'm not talking about people our age. I'm talking about the youth. If that sounds so old,
Yep.
but
kids.
literally kids who have, they're 14 now. Every kid who comes to a show of mine is like they have this idea of fame and I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a comedian, I want to be this, and it's like I guess
Yeah.
we were like, I want to be a footy player, but you didn't
Yeah.
actually
think you're going to do
think
it.
you're gonna do it. I think kids, because it is achievable and people do make videos out of their bedroom.
Yep.
I get so many kids who are going like, oh, can you watch my video, and stuff, and it's just them in their bedroom, and that's awesome. But it's just like I think what's gonna happen is there's also gonna be people who keep getting big. I think we're all gonna be creating content and consuming each other's content, and then
Yeah.
the people I guess who are bigger, who might have a bigger platform,
Mm.
I don't want to say like myself, but people who do have an audience and have been lucky enough to, I guess, break out of that, will just be like a heightened version of that.
Mm.
So we'll just be everyone will be still doing the same shit though between themselves because people like, you know, vlog their holidays now on GoPros just for their friends to watch.
Yeah.
People love the idea of like capturing a thing and then sharing it online.
Yeah, so you're still creating the same
But
stuff. The
I
network
would never
is
do that for not comedy. I just see online as a great platform for me to be funny on and to engage an audience. And I think it's fun playing in that field.
It's weird watching it like unfold because when I was in year 7, I was making like skate and like bike riding clips like down at the skate park and stuff like that and pumping it out. And one of my friends that was doing it with me, he actually like got maybe 5,000 subscribers or something, and this was like huge back in 20.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
That's a decent number.
Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
big, and he got probably like 1.5 million views on this one clip of this
So
skater
now if
kid
you
just
got
eating it.
1.5 million views, you get a lot more than 5k subs.
Yeah,
But not many people had YouTube accounts back
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
day. YouTube was just like this thing where you'd search.
Go to.
Yeah.
And, like if you had an account, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
but like when people were pumping that stuff out, it was like, oh yeah, it was just kind of like we're showing our mates and just like anyone else on the net that's interested, they can kind of have a gander. Whereas now I think a lot of people would be like, oh, if I just stuck at that for like the last 7 years, I could probably be something with that. Like I could have made a
works,
career.
though. It like that works. That's the thing. There are people. I don't want to say their name, but there's a bunch of Facebook creators right now. They're Australian.
Yeah, I know.
You might know
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
the guys I'm talking about.
I think
They
I
might
know.
be like, for example, a video might be like, oh, hey mate, get rid of it. And then they chuck whatever the fuck they're doing, and it's like they're all set up and stuff. You know, the silly salmon type content creators I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
If look, some would argue that maybe that isn't the height of content or comedy.
Yeah.
But if you stick at it for long enough, I'm a true believer. Just from watching that, anyone can be famous.
Yeah.
Anyone.
You probably get roped into that same category of like what people think that from the older generation, I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Not from the younger people. The younger people get that what you're doing is obviously you've thought
It's
it out.
completely
It's
different.
completely
Yeah.
different. Whereas they're just
And,
trying to get screen grabs.
I used to, definitely from the You Don't Own Me videos, like I fell in that category for sure because it was just a shit meme. But now, like, thank God that most of my clips that go viral now are stand-up clips. So it's like very
you're not-
evident that I'm a comedian now.
Yeah.
Or like me reviewing The Bachelor is not the same as being in the street and getting my girlfriend to get her ass out for the thumbnail. Like that's not the same
Yeah.
thing. And I feel like I'm glad I don't play in that field. That's the thing. And I could be a lot bigger. I knew that if I kept doing videos similar to You Don't Know Me, I could have 20 million subscribers, you know? Like some of those people were at Jake Paul's wedding a couple of months ago. And I probably,
Could have been
maybe
in that.
I could have been on that level on private jets in LA and stuff. But I'm like,
But the thing
not,
is, you get
not
on that.
what I wanted to do.
You
Because
get
I
on
truly
that private
believe
jet.
anyone can do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get on that jet and you look around and you're like, oh, cool. I'm hanging out with the boys.
And some
You'd
of those
just be-
creators, I used to be in this Lad Bible creator group when
Yeah.
I used to get my videos shared in Lad Bible when I was doing that sort of content. And one
Do
of
they
those,
pay well, those guys? I'm always.
none.
Oh, really?
No, I think I made
Because they used to always have things on the end
they
of their
sent me
videos. like-
$100. No, they just rack it and upload it. And then you got to beg them for credit and they just
Yeah.
go, fuck you. Yeah, they're horrible. They're money making things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember they used to have a little thing on the end of their videos saying like,
Yeah.
get $500.
If you
whatever.
get, I just by the end was like, I used to get heaps of likes and stuff from it and
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I stopped sending it to them by then. I was like, at the start I was like, please, Lab Bubble, post my shit. Then they started to and I was like, stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those creators, there's an English guy, do you know Kirsten Hannaby, or I don't know, really know what his name is. Anyway, he had like
Maybe.
300 likes at the time. He used to post all these videos in the thing. No one knew who he was. Now he has like 5 million on Instagram, blah, blah, and he just kept on at it. He's doing the pranks. He's doing surprising his grandma, doing just clips that he knew would go viral. Like, oh, I dance with my grandma and you know, just, oh my God, you're so cute. Like, using his friends for content, like blatantly using people around his life, and fucking good on him, man. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm a true believer. If you started right now and for 3 years were like, I'm gonna become one of a Facebook influencer, I'm gonna be one of these people. Anyone could do it. It's whether or not you want to commit hard enough to. It's whether or not you want to get naked in the street and make a dick of
I
yourself.
feel like that is soul crushing to a whole nother level though. Like what you're doing is you're like promoting yourself, but you're like, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm selling.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing is like, hey, look at this mask I've got over my face.
exploiting
Well,
themselves.
yeah.
almost,
well, that's the thing. And by the way, no disrespect to these people. Like they're making fucking a lot of money. Good
Yeah.
on them. And that's the thing. I've never I'm just like I wouldn't do that myself, but like I respect anyone for doing them. I'm like, good, you do you. I don't care. Everyone's running their own race. Who
Yeah.
cares? And that's but yeah, like if you want to, get naked, that'll get views. People watch it. So like that's the thing. Lots of their videos that blew up originally were just them
Stripping
cupping, running
down.
down the street, like them
Yeah.
stealing each other's clothes or, pretending to steal each other's clothes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then putting oil on the staircase, slipping down. People love that shit.
What about do you know Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
He's the guy that just
Ye-
goes the extra mile.
Did you know that he racked my videos and we have Twitter DMs? I have Twitter DMs with him before he got big.
Yeah.
And he racked my You Don't Know Me video.
He
And then-
racked it.
Yeah, he's got 3 You Don't Know Me
Sorry,
videos.
this might be showing my ignorance. What does racked mean?
Oh, like stole. Or like just
Oh, right,
just
okay.
like redid it. Yeah,
Right,
like just
right,
stole
yeah.
the idea.
Oh,
And I'll read it because I honestly don't use Twitter, so I still have this DM from him from like 2018. He had about 500k at the time,
yeah.
and I didn't know who he was. I was like, who the fuck is this Mr. Beast guy? And now obviously I love him. I love him, by the way. He's great. I love his content.
Yeah.
And
Because he just he'll be like, today we're gonna fill up my mate's bathtub,
so
my
good, dude.
my
See,
bathroom with like ping pong balls or some shit.
but that's different. That's
Yeah,
I think
there's a lot of effort that
that's
goes into
different to just faking a prank.
it. Yeah, I don't mind Mr.
Yeah.
Beast. I just
Like-
I don't understand where the
Going
heck
like-
he's getting this money from.
Last
though.
one to leave wins $20,000. I'm like, it's not that creative, but fuck, it's good to watch.
Where the
Yeah.
fuck is he getting
Because
this
you
money
can't
from?
compete with that. That's the thing. Like these other people that are throwing their
He's
mask
not.
on and
Have you
stuff.
heard him on a
You
podcast?
can't throw the money around.
Is he
Not
just
pro-
offsetting the cost
Not
with
profiting. He's hardly making any money
so
because
he's
he's putting 50 grand in some videos and getting 50 grand back.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought
But
that might have been the
now
case.
I think he's going to try and obviously start profiting out of it soon.
Yeah, because
He's
some of them
smart.
are like leaving a waitress a $10,000 tip, and it's like you could still do $1,000 and it would probably get a
But-
similar amount of views.
Nah, but he's smart. He's invested
Yeah.
so much at this point where a lot of people will get to 3 million subs and go, let's cash in and let's try and make some money. We'll try and lower the cost of the videos so we can make more. He was like, waited till he got to 20 million. And
Yeah.
now when he starts cashing in on it, he's just going to rake it in. He's going to be a millionaire.
Yeah,
So he did one of my You Don't Know Me videos, and a bunch of people sent it to me going, he stole your video. Because I called out one of those other creators we were mentioning before once for also stealing the You Don't Know Me one.
yeah.
And so I came in pretty passive to Mr. Beast, and I said, looking back at this now, pretty rude. I was like, hey man, big fan, loving all your original content. And then he said, hey, I want to shout out one of your social media since I took heavy inspiration from one of your videos. Heavy inspiration.
No,
He
he's
wore
beating
glasses.
to the punch here.
He
Paste.
wore glasses, used the same song, and ignored the same
No.
song.
Oh my god.
He didn't even ignore different signs.
Yeah.
And then he said, do you want to shout out your Twitter channel? And I just said, channel would be great, man. Cheers. And then he said, what would you say is your best video? And I said, this is my best video. And I sent him the video of me calling out Jackson, which got front page of Reddit at the time.
Oh, how good.
And then he goes, oh, now I feel bad. And then this is the biggest regret of my life. Looking where he is now,
Yeah.
he goes, oh, saw it would be. He goes, it'd be fun to collab and make one of these You Don't Know Me videos together. This is Mr. Beast wanting to collab with me, and I just was like, I was like, oh man, I'm in Melbourne and you're in LA, and just
Yeah.
Oh, he was in America. I don't think he was in
Probably
LA,
right.
but yeah.
Yeah.
In hindsight now, probably would have flown over to do that. Would
Yeah.
now. I should hit him back, be like, hey man, still keen for that.
Still got the offer? Yeah.
They
It's
get
funny.
extra 19.
But yeah, he seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah,
I
he-
came in being a dick, and he was really good about it. So
I
was
think
like,
you were
that's
pretty
cool.
good there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He seems like a cool guy.
I think you had reason with that tone. So
Do you
Yeah,
think
you're
I
right.
used to get a lot more butthurt back in the day because it was like
Yeah.
it's like my little pride and joy. I was like, this is the one thing I've made. I've been trying for so long at that point to go viral and
yeah,
to be that guy that I finally had it. And then I felt like people were taking it away from me. And now, like, if that happens, I'm just like, whatever.
What was the most surprising thing that came from the You Don't Know Me videos?
Man, that got just the sheer amount of people who
'Cause
everyone's seen it.
that gets like 80 mil.
Oh no, dude! I worked out. I think, and this is gonna sound like an exaggeration. So I 2 years ago on podcast, I was going like, oh, I think it's over 500 million. I think it'd be crawling up to 1 billion views worldwide.
Yeah, 'cause
So
there's
I
a lot of
saw it-
videos that do get to that point.
I saw
yeah.
it uncredited the other, and this is not on the one platform. This is just shared around and re-uploaded
Yeah.
so many times. I saw it uncredited the other day. Hood clips 40 million uncredited, and it got 40 million in 3 weeks.
Far out.
This was like in
Far
like
out.
August, and I was like, and I don't care anymore at this point. I don't
You
want
should
the
just keep reposting.
I don't
it.
want the credit because I know the people you attract from that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
suck.
channels, yeah.
I don't want. They're not comedy fans, and they're not.
And they're not
going
going to stick around either.
No, they're not going to stick around. So I'm still trying to lose those people who I got from them. You know, I still get 400 people unfollow me every single week on Instagram.
Your Instagram's got 300 followers overnight, but
Yeah, that's the thing. I go up like maybe 1,000 followers a week.
Yeah.
But 400 people unfollow me. So maybe I actually got
do you reckon
600.
that's because you're posting so much content? You're like,
My stand-up clips have been going pretty
Yeah.
well on Instagram TV. Like I've had
Yeah.
one hit 100,000. Like all the crowd work videos, they
Yeah.
just keeps
It's probably because
going
they're
out.
following, expecting like a Logan Paul or something like that are making these like vines.
But yeah, that
but
was
you're
so long
more
ago now that
yeah,
everyone following me now is definitely for the stand-up and the comedy, which is what I want to create because
Yeah.
that's an audience
Yeah.
that will be active and that's an audience I want. But yeah, the most surprising part that came out of that video was just every person under 30, I think in Australia at least, probably saw that video at some point,
Yeah.
and that's crazy to think. Sometimes I sit on the train
That's
and I'm
not
like,
a
so weird
not
that
an
like you guys
over-exaggeration.
probably would have seen me do a video before. And obviously, why the fuck would you remember it? I'm not saying like, oh, you should recognize me. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's cool to think though that like,
yeah.
how many people it.
yeah, I probably
reached.
would have seen that video before. Like,
Have you
knew
seen it
you
before?
existed.
The
Yeah,
one with-
I would have seen
yeah.
it before I knew you even existed. It would have
Yeah,
come
of
up and
course.
just
Yeah,
been
it's
like,
just
oh,
like me in glasses and.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember it?
I kind of vaguely remember it like doing the rounds, but I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember like clicking on it.
Because
going
it
to
was
your
probably the
profile or
most
anything like
viral
that.
video.
'Cause it was what, 2
of,
years
like,
ago, or
2017. It
Yeah.
actually like Lab used to share it every 2 months and re-upload it, and Unilad. It wasn't just those; it was everywhere. It was like viral clips. Any single like one of those sites that
Mills.
post the viral shit just posted it, and I still get. You know, sometimes I wake up on Instagram and it's like 500 new followers overnight, and I'm like, "Fuck! It must have got posted again." And
True.
it's good, but it's like,
They're expecting
It's not your
something else.
demographic.
yeah. And then I get messages,
Excuse your data
and it's like
and
they're
all.
in broken English, like do more rule break, and it's like fuck off, like, and you
Yeah.
can't get mad at people because they just like it.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'm in this space where I'm like,
yeah.
I made the video, you know, I made my
Yeah.
bed, I gotta fucking
Yeah,
lay
but
in
it's almost like at the same time they've been like, dance for me, monkey.
Yeah,
like,
they're like,
Yeah.
do more, you don't. And I got offered. I got a kid him back today. Actually, I got offered. I'm not going to say how much money, but a lot of money by a fast food chain in Australia to do a You Don't Know Me this month. Like to fly to Sydney, film an ad for them, and they got this new burger coming out.
Mhm.
that
And-
sounds like hungry.
And you,
Yeah.
it does rhyme with lungery cracks.
Yep.
And they got a new burger coming out, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to do it because it's a lot of money, but god damn, not only will it shit on the legacy of what was a great video series, it's
isn't
not
that-
something I want to go back into.
Isn't that kind of beautiful though, shitting on it, because you don't want to go back into it? So it's like,
Yeah,
just
but
use
so
it
many
for what
people
it is.
remember it fondly, and even I do. Like it made my career
Yeah.
almost. Like
Yeah.
I toured a show. My first ever tour was called You Don't Know Me. I toured a stand-up show under that name. It still holds a little place in my heart where I'm like,
You want to keep the integrity of
I
it.
still think it's funny,
Yeah.
and then I just feel like it almost is the ultimate You Don't Know Me in a way to just sell the fuck out. So
I don't
there's
know how
part
you
of
didn't
me
just
that's
click on
like,
it.
lol. And also, by accident, that's the thing. My hardcore fans will
Yeah.
be like, fuck
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
hate that video
Champion.
now. Cash in on it. Fuck everyone.
Yeah.
All the people who don't really like me will be like, fuck you. And that's kind of funny to me.
Yeah. Well, like, that's...
You know what? I just don't think they've offered me a amount of money, which I spoke about with Lewis and stuff. I'm like, it's not enough for how many views it will get because the last one, I'm like,
Well,
they
just
know.
ask for more.
The last one got, I will, because the last one got what?
Oh, so they want you to
5
make it.
They want me to post it on
and
my platform.
post
That's the thing.
it.
I'm like, if it was an ad for them, I'd do it. I'd just be like,
right,
yeah, it was an ad on
okay,
their
right.
platform.
Okay,
For
right.
sure, I'd
Yeah,
do it.
I thought it was
They
gonna
want
be
me
like
to
a
post it on
H-Shows ad.
YouTube and
Well, this
Facebook.
changes.
They
I thought
want
you were
me
going to be
to-
like their ad.
They want me to do You Don't Owe Me 4 and then product placement their shit in the middle. So, and I know that You Don't Owe Me 4. Well, I'm thinking of doing I've said on podcasts where I'm never going to do another one. I think I might do a 5-year anniversary one and just bring it back, and everyone will be like, what the fuck? Like, it'll just,
Yeah.
I want it to like kind of break the internet again. I want to get back on, start doing the rounds. And yes, I'll attract the shit, but I feel like I've built enough of a base of actual people who know what I do now that it'll just be like a good meme for them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
This is Dylan, the shop owner.
Oh, great. But they want me to plug their thing, and I'm like, it'll get 100 million at least. It will get at least 100 million views if I do a fourth one properly and I do it well.
Yeah.
So that's a,
Just ask for
that's
the
a s-
moolah.
I was going to say, I'm not saying it's the same as effective as an advertisement, but eyeballs on their new product, that's what they want, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the same amount of people who watch the Super Bowl.
It kind
How
of,
much do they pay for those ads? Millions. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm going to ask for millions, but I'd
Yeah.
want a little bit more than the money that they're asking if I know that 100 million people are going to
Was
see
that the
me
first
sell out.
offer?
Yes, and I'll
I'm sure they're going in
Yeah.
knowing that it's going to
Yeah.
be. a bit
They've
of back
definitely
and
got a
forth.
bigger budget than what they're
Yeah.
handing the
Yeah.
first ball out. But that
But
would
I'm
probably,
not too fussed about it. To be
that
honest.
would-
I probably won't do it.
if you want to kind of, I don't know, but that's a way that people that don't know your kind of come up, they see you with H-Shows and they go, oh shit, Luke's made it. Like, Luke's established now. Like,
Really?
I think so. I think
There is
working with a big brand like
authenticity
that,
kind
it's
of
like,
with
oh,
I
paid
guess.
promotion.
like he's like legit now. Like he's working with H-Shows. Like,
It's
Yeah.
just not the way I would do. You know what? I would prefer to just do the same amount of. Like I would prefer to just do an ad about Hungry Jacks and make a funny video or maybe a sketch in Hungry Jacks, whatever. And that's what I'd probably prefer to do. It's just the You Don't Know Me thing is like, I know, like last time it was like I dropped a spirit bomb. I had it scheduled to upload at 7 p.m.
Yep.
Uploaded, came back to the computer 7:01. I refreshed it. It had 1,000 likes on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Wow.
It was just because I told people it was going to be up at 7, so there were people waiting at their fucking computer. It was like, it was something I've never experienced before, and I literally went up 200,000 likes on Facebook overnight.
Holy
I woke up the
shit.
next
Far
morning,
out.
refreshed my page, and I thought it was fucked. I just thought it was like a glitch.
Yeah.
And I kept refreshing it, and I was like, that's not broken. That's just what happened. It just was like, and because Lab Bubble and stuff followed me at this point, so they knew I was going to drop it. So they were like, as soon as he drops it, rip it, and then put it straight on.
Did they
platform.
credit you?
This was the third one. So the second one went so viral that then when I dropped the third,
But on the
I
third
announced I'm going to drop the third one this time, this date. All the content people who work at these obviously pages were like, all
yeah,
right,
but what
great.
I'm saying is you weren't giving it to them.
No, they just rip it.
Did they credit you though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
by that point, but
Okay.
some in the comments, you know how it is, like it's bullshit. But yeah, I should have put my Instagram handle in the water. I should have watermarked the original file, so the one they ripped,
Yeah.
there was never another version.
Yeah,
But-
then they just crop it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good thing now because I don't want those. At the
Yeah.
time, it was great, but because I was just awesome, I was like, it's like I'm going viral, and I
Yeah.
thought I was
Yeah.
fucking famous or whatever. Who cares?
How long were you trying to break into that for?
It took about 2 years, I think, to get a viral video. Maybe like 1.5 years, 2 years.
How many videos do you reckon you made?
Probably like 30.
Yeah.
So like
And
once
I
a
had,
month.
I had one go pretty viral. Like before that, it was when I say viral, I got like 250,000 on Facebook, like about Pokemon Go, and that's when I realized that you've just got to do videos about whatever people are talking about. That's what's
Yeah.
going to go big. Like that's the easy way. If you want to break into YouTube, just talk about what everyone else is talking about. It's the easiest way to go big. That's how like most. That's why reactionary channels are so big.
So you're just playing the algorithm.
Yeah.
Like the,
But like I just made this
next up.
Pokemon Go video where 30 seconds, really simple idea. Pokemon Go had just come out. My mate happened to work at a gaming company, so I got given a beta version of Pokemon Go before it hit the stores. So I
Wow.
understood kind of what the app was. I'm like, all right, you catch them
Yeah.
in real life. So I had 2 days. I knew this was going to be huge. It's going to be massive. I was like, all right, I'll do a video about it. So I had 2 days before it went nuts. So I went down to St. Kilda Pier and I was like, oh, look, it's a Magikarp or whatever. And my mate was like, "Oh, we'll catch it." And my mate starts using the app, and I'm like, "Fucking that!" And I ran and I dive into the water. He's like, "No, mate, they're not actually there or whatever." And that was the joke. Just like simple as fuck. But I dropped this video right at the perfect time where this video was kind of the day I dropped it was the day that every person in Australia downloaded Pokemon Go.
Right.
Do you remember that day where everyone was like, "You got to download new Pokemon"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that night I dropped it and everyone was like, "I'm playing it." And I'm watching the video and it just
Yeah.
went nuts. And I went from 2,000 likes on Facebook to 10,000 from that one video. And that's when I got my little hub. Then You Don't Know Me happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Interesting.
Manufacturing the meme.
It's literally like you can play the game and
Yeah.
you can do it. It's very like calculated.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if I wanted to start playing the game again, I probably could keep going viral. But I'm just having like so much fun with stand up and podcasts. And I'm at a comfortable point now where it's like I'm doing what I want to be doing every day, and I'm like, can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how long have we been recording for? Wow, we've been recording for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I gotta
fuck.
head off.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is so long.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. It was good. It was good to get a little bit of info about.
You don't have to use it all. Just got some out.
Very
yeah.
little music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
there was
music
a lot
for
of
the
this.
first
The
hour.
first
Beginning,
half,
yep.
yeah.
And then
You know, the true fans will stick around for the
Yeah.
second half.
yeah.
Do you finish it or you just cut it off?
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, thanks so much, man.
Man,
Really
thanks so
appreciate
much for having me.
it. Yeah.
Good chat.
Thanks
Good
for coming
chat.
on.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
Audio
having me.
Technica. Yeah, thank you, Gareth. Yeah, it's great to have you on. And thank you, Liam, who's now departed us. But yeah, thank you again to Audio Technica for providing the equipment. Really helps us out.
What a crisp clap.
All right. Cheers, guys.